We're going Facebook. We're going YouTube. We're all ripping it. Hey, happy Monday. God bless America. How you doing? Welcome worldwide podcast listeners. Kimmer Show podcast. That's only me with Pete Davis, producer, sidekick, and sports raconteur extraordinaire, and the mechanical mangler flounder at the controls, of course, at El Condo Floundo, with Lucas the Podcat. I didn't see him in the screen. I was kind of disappointed.
He was there a little while ago, and then he was chilling on the couch, and then he heard you come in, so he ran into the room.
Well, what he's got, one of these days, I'm going to be absolutely thrilled, because he should be sitting right here. I mean, honestly, he should be sitting there and then jump over here. We could play with him. I mean,
here's what he should be doing.
Doink. Yeah, going like this. I mean, that would be... Anyway.
He hasn't started that stuff yet, but he's very curious about stuff.
Oh, so believe me, he will. When he discovers he can do it.
Last night was the first night where I kept my door open.
Yeah.
And because I got a new little cat tree for him.
Yeah.
So that way I have one out there and then one in my room for when I'm gone. So he slept out there last night.
Good,
so
that's good.
Starting to kind of normalize around here.
Mr. Independent.
He's eating and drinking. He's fine and healthy, and it seems good. Excellent.
Likes to meow a lot.
I'm sorry?
He likes to meow a lot.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Now, is he fixed yet, or is he too young?
No,
he's probably
too young. Yeah, he's only, I think the birthing was in July.
Yeah.
So
well, when he starts peeing all over your furniture, you'll know that it's time to... Anyway. All right, look, we got a million things to talk about today. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. We'll talk about weekend stuff. It happened. I got a couple of nitpicks. I'll bet you guys might. A lot of sports to talk about, not only the Braves and the Falcons and Tennessee and Alabama and Yankees are game tonight. A whole bunch of good stuff here in sports. Some thank you notes. We'll talk about my post office box. And we got a whole bunch of personal stuff, a bunch of newsy stuff too, including President Pervert is at it again. This child molester, it's you can't just write everything he does off as, well, he's just a silly old grandpa and he doesn't mean any harm. He's a pervert.
Yep.
He's creepy. He's creepy. And we'll get to it. And you're going to hear him. In fact, there's sound, and you'll hear, if you haven't seen the video. And I hope somebody other than Fox is playing it, but I'll bet the mainstream media is not touching it at all. Anyway, we'll talk about that. The President Pervert. Also, Herschel Walker, man, on that debate. And the early voting is on. I'm going to try to vote today. We'll talk about, if Pete would shoot people who damage art,
yes.
What are you going to do on Halloween if somebody soaps your windows?
I will applaud them because I'm 3 stories up.
If he's hanging off your balcony, your kid
congratulations.
Have a candy bar.
Yeah, have a candy. They deserve it.
Let's see. Putty Ted's coming to town. Let's see. The first early pair of Levi's jeans with kind of a hidden secret message of what times used to be. We'll talk about that. Also, the Christian fired for not being a part of the LGBTQRX thing. By the way, I was Googling the story. The Christian teacher fired for the LGBT or something is all I typed in. And all of a sudden now with auto Google thing, it's put the whole phrase in. It's now like LBGTQRE170 dash. I mean, oh my God. Anyway, milk pouring people are at it again. Also, boycott of a cosmetics firm because they played a tape of a tranny talking about how he can't wait to have a baby and a family, and that everybody needs to have good makeup, even if you're a guy dressing like a girl, stuff like that. Drive-by shooting at Clark Atlanta University. Dear Abby thing or two. New kinds of parents and a whole bunch of stuff. And first of all, I think is a debate tonight. Stakey the Kool-Aid Monster, and is it on TV?
Oh, Monday Night Football.
Yeah, good luck. Good, that's fine because it won't make any difference. And I don't care. And in fact, I have to admit, I forgot the Herschel Walker debate Friday night. I was watching so much sports Friday night. I got distracted, and I realized, oh my God, it's 9:15 or whatever. It was, too bad. But I saw a lot of sound bites, and we'll talk about how well he did. Now, first of all, a couple things. Pete brought me a bag, and in this bag is, oh my God, marijuana. I can't believe it. He brought me a bag. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no, I'm sorry. What is this now?
Great Grains.
Great Grains. We talked about this last week, did we not?
Yes.
And this is from what company, or is it a health food thing?
I think it's Post.
And it's called Great Grains?
Great Grains from Post.
Now, do you get this at Publix and places, or do you have to go to a special store?
They have 3 or 4 different versions of it, yeah.
I don't think, I don't shop for cereal, so I guess that's why I've
It's
never...
usually, on Kroger, it's on the end for some reason.
I can't go to Kroger. It's too freaking confusing. In fact, I'm going to talk about it. But by the way, speaking of shopping for cereal...
Well, Publix has them,
Holy, there must be 700 brands
I
of
know.
cereal.
It's amazing.
I mean, do they all sell? I guess, I'd love to have it. One day...
It's
can we
easy.
get, one
It's
day,
easy.
It's easy.
For parents.
Yeah. Well, that's right. But one day we need to get a supermarket guy in here. Wouldn't you love to know at a thing like Publix? I mean, I'm just curious for 20 minutes and do a thing. Wouldn't you love to know how many at your basic Publix or Kroger?
Earl, the meat manager from
no,
Publix.
I'm seriously. If you get a guy from Publix or Kroger to say an Alpharetta or Grosso or whatever to say, okay, how many of those freaking chickens do you cook every day?
Probably a lot.
I mean, 500, 7,000. When do you? I mean, just stuff like that. How many boxes of cereal do you sell to make room? I mean, do you sell 50 boxes a day or 500 a day? I mean, I have no idea. I mean, when you go through the store and you see the fresh fruit, how much do they have to throw away? Does it sell every day? I mean, I'm just curious as to how a supermarket works.
The computer.
It's just is it turnover every minute, or does it sit there for months? Or I mean, I'm just curious about things. The daily stuff. And anyway, I just how much milk? What about milk? I mean, do you get it in and it's gone in 2 days, or do you have some in the back frozen? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it works, but I thought it'd be interesting. Anyway, thank you. I'll try this.
It's the same with the flowers.
Yeah, fresh flowers, and they come from Mexico. I think most of them. I think they used to. I don't know if they still do. But the number one importer or exporter of flowers to America is Mexico. And I don't know how they stay so fresh. And also they come in bundled, and you'd think they'd be crushed. I don't know. But again, I don't have the answer. I don't know.
Well, they fly them in every day from the Netherlands to New York City. Every single day they fly the tulips in.
Yeah. I'm sure. Again, it's how much they must sell 1 billion of them to be able to pay for a jet to do nothing but fly tulips over here. I guess they're part of a cargo thing, but still, I mean that's
no, it's a Tulip Express.
Well, even again, I mean, it's got to be unbelievably expensive.
By the way, Donnie has just voted for you in the District 11 representative race.
I'll tell you, boom, bah, booyah! Yeah, right in the camera. How funny is that? If especially a race you don't care about or you don't know about, put in the camera. How funny is that? Let's see, a couple things. And first of all, Pete Davis. My thanks to everybody. Again, I got the post office box just a few days ago. It was like last month, I don't know, whatever it was. We already got mail. I put a Facebook video of me going to the post office box, and among the mail we got, in fact, I'm going to read a bunch of it now here for you now, is from. Let's see. From Tom and Stone Mountain, not only sent money to the podcast, but he also sent money to you for Holy Crap, It's Sports.
What?
That's directly to you. How about
Thank
that?
you.
Yes, sir. That's from Thomas and Stone Mountain. And he says, always enjoy your shows. Enjoy the cheeseburgers. And again, we ask you for a cheeseburger a month.
You, Tom.
Or we now have a post office box, and you can go to thekimmershow.net and look up all the stuff. Or the post office box is Kimmer Media, Post Office Box 1432, 1432, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. And you can get it on our thekimmershow.net. Anyway, thank you so much, Thomas. Also, our buddy Rick at Atlanta Custom Closet sent us a nice little note and some money and stuff. That's cool. Stephen and Mayetta, Mark in Franklin, North Carolina, our friend Denise. We've already gotten all this mail from the post office box, a couple more quickies that I wanted to read because I was... what's the matter?
By the way, Atlanta Custom Closets, closetpro.net.
Yes.
404-255-0589 is the place to go for any renovation or new closet, whatever you need. Atlanta Custom Closets, closetpro.net.
There you are. One of our Kimmer Show podcast sponsors with our great appreciation. Did you say something?
I just said that's what she said.
Oh, okay. I have on my DVR, I have stuff collected for years, and I have among the things I have in my history, my TV thing is about the 4-minute section where Michael Scott is in the meeting with Jan, and he says, "We can't be fun anymore. I can't tell jokes anymore." And Jim says, "Does that include That's What She Said?" "Yes, it does." "Oh, that's going to be hard." Pause.
You think you can go
Yeah,
all
you
day?
never let me down like this before. Can you go all day without? He said, that's what she said. It's stupid. Anyway, excuse me. I got a very nice note here and a wonderful donation from our friend Jerry. And it says, Kimmer and crew, I've been a listener for many years. I'm glad you have a post office box. I've wanted to help, but due to my PayPal account being hacked, I no longer trust electronic money transactions through the internet. God bless America. Jerry, I get it, my friend. He says, as an old man, 78, and an old car fan, I sympathize with your health, romance. This is funny. I sympathize with your health, romance, and financial problems.
Your life.
That's pretty much the trifecta.
Your life.
That's my life. That's it. I mean, health, romance, and money. What else is there?
I know. College football.
He says, getting old ain't easy. I remember, he says, I remember the 55 Ford convertible you were having built. I'm a retired postal worker and an Air Force vet in the 60s. Thanks for your service, but good luck with the show. Best luck with the show. Hope it works out. From Jerry. And I already wrote him a thank you note. That 55 Ford was supposed to be the last car I ever bought because of the thing, and I got screwed and cheated, and 2 car dealers screwed me, and, local. Anyway, thank you, Jerry. And one more, and this is from Mike. Says, longtime listener, no-time caller, Mike in Powder Springs. And he says, I have to do a certain voice for this. And here's his letter. Here's how it goes. Kimmer, hey, remember that time when you had that little girl call in for the little Bow Wow tickets? Yeah, remember that Wayne was cracking up and you made her play her clarinet? Remember that? That was awesome. It had to be the Chris Farley type story. And it's a true story. That a little girl was listening, little black girl was listening, and she was listening to the black station, I forgot which one it was, but the black station. Well, I'm telling you, it's a black station. It's the urban black station. It's the black station. Is that offensive? Huh? V103? V103 or something. And they were having a contest where you could call in to get tickets to Little Bow Wow. Well, she clearly dialed me at my talk show instead of the V whatever, and so I said to Wayne, I said, we're gonna have a little fun here, and she couldn't have been 10 or 11 years old.
You bastard!
I know, and I said, God help me, I think I used a fake black voice too. I think I said, that's right.
Talking.
How's it going, baby? I think I might have even done that. And anyway, I won't do it now, but I'm admitting I might have done it. I don't know. But
you're wondering why things are not going well right now. Karma.
And she said she was calling in to get the tickets, and I said, well, I think I said, what's your favorite Little Bow Wow song? And I think she told me, and I said, well, can you sing something for me? And I forgot how we got into it. I may be wrong about this, but the bottom line was, I said, she was a musician, and I said, well, what do you play? She played the clarinet. And in fact, even the letter says, P.S. Wayne told you that you were going to hell, and yet you continued. The poor girl played Mary Had a Little Lamb. I made her play in her clarinet, Mary Had a Little Lamb. And I don't remember how I got out of giving her the tickets. I think I just said, well, you have to call back and try again or something. But it was too late. She wasn't going to. I know. I'm sorry.
Everything bad has happened to you in your life after that.
I used to fool around. When people used to call me when they think I was.
Adults,
They
though,
thought
not a child.
Well, an old lady called it. Well, all right. So she learned her lesson.
It's a hard life, kid.
Yeah, don't trust Whitey.
Don't trust Whitey. It's a hard life.
It's a hard life.
What's that Little Orphan
Little
Annie song?
snot.
It's a hard life.
The ankle biter, rug rat.
Oh my God.
And I remember this old lady called in and thought I was Clark Howard, and it was looking for a trip to Birmingham. And Clark Howard was famous. Well, if you're going to Birmingham, it was like a slogan line. And so I said, oh my God, you're in luck. Semper Fi Air has a special right now, $12 one way to Birmingham. I said, when you get there, you get a Yugo for free. And in fact, Don Farmer called after that bit. Don Farmer, the anchorman, Chris Girl, Don Farmer called. He was a listener, and he called me and said he was cracking up in the car when I had this thing. The bit was, I said, yeah, it's like $12. I maybe said around $12 round trip. And when you get there, they give you a Yugo for your use. He said, oh my God. I said, now, you're going to have to stand all the way. Do you have a problem standing at all? Moving around while you're flying? And it went on. And I said, well, just look it up, Semperfi Air, and see if the special still holds. Oh, thank you so much, Clark. I said, you're welcome. Hey.
Over the weekend, after the college football games, I was flicking around, and there was Clark. He has a TV show.
What?
Yeah.
On what channel?
I don't know which one it was, but there was Clark, and he was talking about getting deals and stuff like that. It was like, hey, there's Clark.
It's got to be Channel 2 still.
It might be.
Because he still does radio stuff with WSB.
Was this on Sunday? It's like a Sunday
I think
morning
it was
show
Saturday
or something?
night after the games and everything. After the
I'll
news.
be damned. And we love Clark. I mean,
Yeah,
Clark's a great
he's a
guy.
nice guy.
The last time I saw him, in fact, we were doing a live shot where you were making fun of the band who said, kiss my ass band people.
Smash Mouth.
Smash Mouth. Smash Mouth sucks. When they were right there.
They were right behind me.
Yeah, they were like an inch from me. Smash Mouth sucks.
I ran.
And I don't know what we were doing. It was an Olympic parade.
That was the mic drop, the first mic drop ever, because I literally dropped the mic and ran. That
was an Olympic thing?
Pre-Olympic thing, yeah, down at the park.
So that's 96?
95 or 96, yeah.
Jesus, 20. I mean, my God.
Pam Ray.
Anyway, and Clark was he doing it in a car on a parade or something, or walking by in a part of a thing? It's Clark Howard, and so we started calling to him and talking to him while he was on the air doing. So anyway, it was pretty fun. He's a great. We always like Clark Howard. If you're going to Birmingham, anyway.
He did a show at Aunt Charlie's, the great Aunt Charlie's in Buckhead, and my parents were down there for some reason. Day drinking, I guess. And they walked up to him and introduced themselves and said, they were my parents, haphazardly. And he couldn't have been nicer to them. He's
a nice guy. Yeah. And he likes, he's he's a man. He has a certain. There was a little episode of him being,
don't
sweet
and
being a real man.
Episodes.
That's right. I've got did I ever tell you the one about a certain anchor lady that I knew in a thing with a cloakroom?
Well, the one you didn't ever
settle
the bill with?
One of my regrets.
They're liking it at her.
You idiot. So, once in a while, 2 o'clock in the morning, I wake up, you idiot.
As the late, great Jack Kennedy said, all you got to do is ask.
You got to ask.
A 9 out of 10 are going to slap you.
1 out of 20 is going to probably say, go to your car. I regret not hitting that girl in the car at the ball when we went down to the ballpark to go on the radio that day.
She was crazy.
She was nuts. Anyway.
Right up your
alley. Well, she started it. The people tried it again. I promise we have newsy stuff. But we're just, we're goofing around. I got another thing. Safety plan order form. Workplace safety is essential. Georgia businesses are required to have a workplace safety plan. So they sent me a form. And last couple of years, I've paid them their $100 fee for this. But then I kept looking at it and said, now, wait a minute. It says this is a non-governmental organization, does not have a contract with any government agency to provide this service. In other words, you idiot. They're saying, pay me money and we aren't going to do anything. But it's an official, look at this. It's an official form and it's got numbers and codes. And then I said, no, wait a minute. And it was $295. Please respond today. Anyway, I'll respond. Here, check this out. Thank you. Anyway. Goofballs. Let's see. Weekend stuff. We'll talk sports here shortly, but other than sports thing,
I had a really weird Halloween experience because Halloween's a week from today, by the way.
That can't be right.
What's today? 17th.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's 2 weeks.
No,
from
it's
today.
2 weeks.
It's 2 weeks from today.
But it's a Monday night.
It's a Monday night. Yeah.
Okay.
So you got to dress up that Monday. Both of you have to dress up. You have to have some kind of thing.
I'll be
you have
driving
to have
my
something.
car down.
I got my classic Waldo I can always go to.
Yeah, do the Waldo. It's like a dance. Do the Waldo. So anyway, I'm in downtown Sandy Springs walking around. Gosh, it's like Friday afternoon. And they were setting up some tents to do a Halloween thing for kids and stuff. I think they're doing one on the 22nd, too. Anyway.
Who's doing it?
Sandy Springs, I think.
Oh, okay.
There's a sign as you're driving up the road here. Yeah. Anyway, this is Roswell. I think maybe it's Roswell. Anyway, so there's a bunch of little shacks set up and everything, and one of them psychic.
Oh, you get to be a psychic, 5 cents. Lucy,
I've had a psychic on my old shows, but I'd never actually done one myself. And I went in.
Oh, it was open, you mean, ready to go?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And how much? All right, go ahead.
It was about, $5, something. Yeah, $5 or $6, I remember. Yeah. So anyway, I'm sitting down.
You walk in. Well, tell me about walking in. Was it a dark room
just
with a globe?
Basically, it was a tent because they set up little kiosks and tents and everything, kind of like a street fair.
Yeah.
All right.
So it wasn't mysterious like a burning
It
globe
was kind
or
of,
smoke?
oh, yeah, because it was kind of dark inside.
Okay.
She had dark stuff up around and neon glowing things, stars and moons and stuff. Yeah. And she was a rather attractive woman. I think pretending to be a gypsy, maybe Italian or something probably like that, but I don't know. So she had the little...
Stevie Nicks was in town this weekend.
That's true. They said she was great, by the way. Everybody said she was great.
Who was great?
Stevie Nicks. She was at your theater, and she did great, the amphitheater. But
excellent.
Yeah, excellent. Poor Tom Petty's dead, can't be with her. So anyway, I walk into the little tent, it's dark and everything, and she turns out she's not the crystal ball thing. She's not gazing into the pumpkin or something like that. She's one of those card readers, the tarot card readers. Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure about those.
I know, that's a little, at least she didn't have a Ouija board. Yeah, I would have left. I'd have turned around and left. Yeah. So she puts about 4 or 5 cards down on the table in front of me.
Yeah.
Right? And then she asked me to leave.
All right, now wait a minute.
Then she says, "You need to leave."
That's all she
was
said?
making.
She needs to leave. Turns out, if you yell "hit me" every time she lays down a card,
very funny.
They get very unhappy.
Very funny. All right, I'm gonna double down on the 7. I'm gonna split the 9s.
She puts a devil down and going, "Hit me! Give me an angel! Give me."
So you didn't actually get a psychic reading? Okay, I was gonna say because we've had those before.
Oh, yeah.
We do it on the radio. In fact, wasn't our production guy's wife was a psychic?
Yeah. Okay.
And we had her. Did we have her on the radio one time? And she had people called in, and she could talk to you and say, "Oh my God, you're going to get married in 12 years and divorced in 15, or something like that."
Okay. I had her on when the Braves. It was Game 3 against the Yankees in '96. And I had her on, and she was a really nice woman. Jim Cook's wife, very nice woman. She said she was a psychic and everything. She got reading. And at one point, I looked up, and she didn't follow baseball. She turned around and saw we're up 6-0. And she said, "See, you're worried about nothing. It's no big deal." Well, of course, they lost that game. That was the Layritz home run game.
That the one?
But anyway, she says, "Now, give me like your worst nightmare when you're a kid. Where'd your fears come from?" And I told her I had a fear when I was a little boy. And when I was finished telling her about it, I never told anybody about that. And then I'm telling it on the air to this woman, and she just looked at me and said, "You need help."
Oh my God! Well, what was the fear? We got to tell us now.
When I was a kid, you jump up on the toilet, right? And you look down, and of course, there's lots of space to look down because you're a kid.
You mean put your feet up on the?
You're sitting down on the toilet bowl.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
By jump up, you mean you sit down on the toilet?
Yeah, you're
I thought
a little kid.
You jumped up with your feet. No, so you sit on the john.
You sit there, and you look down, and you look between your legs. The shadow of the light on the water looked like a fiddle. And I thought there was an evil fiddle that lurked.
Like violin fiddle you're talking about?
That lurked in the toilet, and it scared me, and I jumped up, and I refused to go to the bathroom for like days. And my aunt finally tricked me by giving me chocolate.
Yeah, but it was
it was X-Lax.
Yeah,
and to this day,
candy.
I can't eat hollow chocolate rabbits because it tastes just like X-Lax. Which is why I always got the solid one.
Or AIDS candy, wasn't it? Was that vitamins or was that laxative?
That was a diet
AIDS
thing.
Candy.
My mother had that.
AIDS
AYD.
candy. AIDS candy.
Another psychic thing. The first time I ever had a psychic on, Eric Seidel, our boss, met me in the hallway. He says, "Well, I hope you got that shit out of your system." Look, what are you talking about? It's a psychics. Nobody cares about
radio.
Psychics. Guess what?
Everybody cares about psychics.
And a month later, he signed Art Bell to do overnights.
I guarantee you, yeah.
And I went to his office. I said, "What the hell?"
Yeah. And by the way, for all you worldwide broadcaster companies, we would love to do an overnight psychic or truck driver or conspiracy or, and get into some, loving techniques or something over like midnight to 5 or something. We'll do it. No, he'll believe me because there's money in this. I guarantee you, we could do a show. We could do an overnight show on radio. Oh my God!
By the way, what are we going to do?
Or TV or put it on YouTube.
Let's do something like it. The Monday show in 2 weeks is the Halloween show. Let's do something. You want to get a psychic in here? You want to get what do you want? Because we tried that
Maybe
once.
Somebody
it didn't
who's
work
been
out well.
to your haunted house guy, or somebody who's
I'm not a
actually
haunted
had
house
an
guy.
experience.
Someone that's. Gosh, I wish we had.
Well,
call-ins.
let's maybe think about it.
We'll bring a Ouija board in here.
No, we're not bringing a Ouija board. How about this? If you
Or if
listeners,
you have a story, if you have a
Write us.
Halloween story, a psychic story, or a thing like that, let us know.
Pete Davis 1 at yahoo.com, or send it to Kimmer, or send it to Flounder, and keep them short and pithy because we need to read them on the air.
Yeah.
But still, we got to think of something. We got 2 weeks. Do
Yeah.
you want to try and get someone in, a ghost hunter?
And if they're good, they don't have to be short. Just type it away and send it, and boom.
We could have Wayne come in and talk about the time I fell in the grave with me and him in the Lawrenceville Cemetery, running around at midnight.
I
And
didn't know you fell
Wayne
in.
Suddenly, he disappeared. Pete's gone. We had run, and I fell in an open grave.
Oh boy, that's yeah. That's why I'm getting cremated.
We'll spread you around Flounder's
Just
apartment.
send me it. But put me in the Georgia Radio Hall of Fame doorstep.
Put you in Lucas the podcast kitty litter bit.
Podcat, yeah. Oh my God. Let's see. Flounder, any particular weekend goofiness, happiness, or anything, whatever?
No, I kept it nice and chill. I didn't do much, and it was nice.
Okay. Yeah,
Went and
those
saw Hank, my nephew's soccer game on Saturday, and then just sat on my ass and watched football and baseball all day.
Yeah. Well, it was a great weekend for that. And again, one more game to go. And notice the powerhouses got knocked off. I mean, we'll talk sports here shortly.
And yeah, because everyone was bitching about the Braves for like 4 hours. And the Dodgers completely took all the heat off the Braves.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
And Alabama. And I mean,
Thank you.
appreciate it. I thought this was pretty funny. I was on my, again, we have a whole bunch of newsy stuff to talk about here. And I'm running late. I was looking up my history and birthdays list. Again, Flounder sends me stuff of his site, which I really like because it's a weird guy from England, I think. And I will look up 2 or 3 sites to get birthdays and things like that as well. And in fact, by the way, today on our birthday list, it'll be a musical birthday salute, among other things. I'm looking at the history website. All of a sudden, boom, up pops on my phone this morning while last night while I was doing this last night. Up pops a message, and the message says, "Meet girls from Ukraine." How long did that take, by the way? Meet girls from Ukraine. Beautiful girls singles with traditional and family values seeking older partners. My special dates. And then you can open up I did not open it. Okay, I did open it.
Some of them beautiful women.
Well, Slutskaya Papakakov is going to be here in 2 weeks. She's 24, gymnast.
She's better than Ivana Kuchakakov.
Yeah, cut your dick off. She'll be here in 2 weeks. She likes older men.
One eyebrow. One eye.
No lip. You know? Now I remember back when I was in the. God, it was before I got my final wife, so it must have been in the early mid-'90s because I got her 95. Anyway, in the '90s, so I'm on the radio here in Atlanta in the '90s, and I really wanted a girlfriend. I mean, I don't date. I wasn't a dater, and I'm not the kind of guy that girls pick up at the grocery store. So it's not like Anyway, and I did there, and I think it was there was a catalog. And I believe it was called Orange Blossom or Peach Blossom or something like that. And it was Asian girls or Filipino girls from, I think it was might have been from the Philippines. I don't know if it was specific, but it was from that part of the world. And it was girls looking to meet America and wanted to marry Americans.
Yeah.
And most of them had, I think they probably all had pictures, and there were some, now whether they were real or not, or how old the pictures were, no way of telling. But the stories were, and there was one story after another of guys saying, yeah, they flew over there, and the deal is if you sign up for this Peach Blossom special or whatever the hell it's called, I forgot what it's called, something Blossom, I think. There's like tours or whatever, and you kind of make a deal whereby you spend a week there to meet their family and get to know them, stuff, and then they come back with you. And I actually sent for the catalog, and I didn't send for any of the girls, but I think I did write a couple of them. And I got back these, beautiful glowing letters. I did.
You're oversharing.
And no, nothing ever happened. I didn't. But again, I mean, that's how. When I was in San Francisco for 2 lousy years, 40 years ago, before I came back, I put an ad in the paper. I put an ad in the paper here in Atlanta. In fact, I told you I met a famous city official, high-ranking city official leader's daughter. At the Cisco Cafe or whatever it's called in Buckhead for a lunch date after I put an ad in the paper, seeking female. Anyway, and nothing ever worked out.
Didn't Art Bell get his wife from something like that?
I don't know.
I seem to remember talking.
Guys do it. I knew a golf pro buddy of mine years and years ago. Well, not that long ago, but anyway, 20 years, 30 years ago. Met his wife through a sex hookup site.
Wow.
And married her. Now, I didn't want to say, okay, so in other words, you go into a restaurant and 9 guys, hey, Clara, how you doing? Silly, hey, yuck. Anyway.
By the way, ladies, we are available still to be picked up in restaurants, grocery stores.
Right. Although next time I'm gonna cement the deal. Remember, I turned that girl.
Sure.
No, the girl was reading my jacket that day. A little cutie was saying, "I'm reading your jacket." I said, "Oh yeah." And she said, "Yeah." And I let her go. I didn't do anything. I'm a chicken. Quack quack quack. A couple things. I got a new shopping story. Kanye West story. CBS and their teases thinks things are going to be different. Selena Gomez is in the news on Twitter. You're going to hear President Pervert here in just a couple of minutes. I can't wait to get to that. A million things with Pete in sports. We got a whole bunch of stuff here today, including a salute to our buddies at Wise RV Glass. Wise RV Glass. What a great idea this is. This is a company that will replace any glass or fix any glass issue on your RV, motor coach, and camper, stuff like that. If you have maybe double pane windows that get fogged up, broken rear view mirrors, side mirrors, even those big flat one-piece front windshields on RVs that are hard to find, they'll take care of it. And the good news is they'll come to you. It's an all-mobile service. They come to where you are, use your window frame, save you time and money, all mobile service. And the good, honestly, you're thinking to yourself, well, I've got a cracked rear view mirror. They'll fit. That's what they do. Don't be afraid. There's no job too small. This is what they do for a living. So to save time and money, all mobile service, no job too big either if you have a whole fleet of vehicles that needs work. Here's a phone number, Wise RV Glass, area 470 345-6521. And on the web, Wise, it's W-I-S-E, wiservglass.com. And again, thank you very much. Da-da-da. Okay. I'm in. I want to get to this President Pervert here shortly, but I got a couple more quick personal things.
Oh no, we got a bruise on Jack.
Oh, it's getting. Oh, it's
Did
rotting.
He fall or something?
No, it's rotting. It's been here. They don't last forever.
He ain't gonna last 2 weeks, is he?
I have one just like that now. Suddenly, my little friend.
Well, he's not
Gretchen,
rotting yet, but he's bruising.
My little friend Gretchen left one for me. I don't know how the hell she keeps getting in my place. Anyway, so this weekend I was looking for, a couple things. First of all, I was really trying to find some regular size Milky Ways just to prove that and remember somebody said they were at Kroger and the checkout cashier lines? Well, they are. Anyway, so I went to Kroger because when I went to Publix, they didn't have any of my Bay's English muffins. I don't like, I'll eat Thomas's English muffins, but they're not what I really like are Bay's, B-A-Y-S, Bay's English muffins that are in the dairy section, near where the biscuits are and cookies, okay? And they have the regular kind or the sourdough bread or the multi-grain. And all I ever find lately is multi-grain. So I was all ticked off. So I said, screw this at the one of the Publix I went to. And I went to Kroger. After I went to the Staple, I drove all the way to the Kroger that's not really near me at all, looking for that. They don't even have them. I didn't see them anywhere, anyplace. But anyway, at Kroger, they did have the Milky Way at checkout, by the way, so I bought a couple of Milky Way bars just to prove they have them. Anyway, I get to this Kroger up on Alpharetta Highway, and they must have had 10 lanes, 10 cashier things, all automated, one cashier working, one cashier. Yeah. And of course, the two people in front of me had 40 things in their cash ding, but so did all the people at the self-checkout. And it was mobbed, and they all had overflowing carts. So I said, I'm not doing it, and I stayed in line and waited behind the people in the cashier checkout line just because I don't like, I'm protesting, they're even hurting myself, just saying I'm not putting up with it. I'm not going to be part of this. I'm just not going to be part of it. I'm not taking part of it. And I'm watching on the news this flounder, and I saw before you got here on the news now. The stores, have you heard about this? Stores are now using cashier-less shopping carts. You put your stuff in the cart and drive away.
Okay. There's a video out that some people made say, I think it was Saturday Night Live. Yeah. Basically that's great. That's great for white people, but black people ain't trusting it because as soon as we walk out that door, you know they're going to be coming to say, ding, ding, ding.
I swear to God, hands up.
So, oh no, you're not following. You're not getting me.
I ain't taking no boat rides either.
Doc says you're going to die.
Yeah, one lane open, one out of like 10 or 12.
And they're taking jobs away from cashiers. They're taking jobs away and making you do the work. Our friend Tissy, a friend of the show, said she went to Walmart the other day and they made her do the self-checkout. And as she's walking around, the guy standing there goes, oh, miss, I need to check your receipt. And she just held it up like this. He goes, look, buddy, if you trust me to check out, then I'm out of here. I'm not stopping to let you look at my receipt.
Then take care of her. Yeah. It's like going to Infinity. They couldn't take my credit card. Couldn't even pay my bill there. Anyway,
petty human.
It's again, it's a personal. I'm a baby
it's
boomer.
not that. It's like everything's going to automation.
Yeah.
Without question. We were talking about the cashier-less shopping carts, and I was mentioning a founder. My God, can you imagine what's going to be happening in 100 years?
I know. Well,
we'll all weigh 900 pounds, and you'll never leave your home.
We won't.
Well, I'll be long gone. But anyway.
It was funny. I was at Whole Foods, was it Tuesday or Thursday, and I went to the hot bar.
Yeah.
And you go to the self-checkout, and you set it down so it can weigh, and then you have to pick the container.
Oh,
I accidentally hit the wrong container, and it made me do it. And I was like, God damn it. And there was a line, and everybody heard me. And the lady came over and helped me real quick, but I was just like, Jesus. It was just like one little thing, and I had to do 40 steps to get back to start over.
Well, when I was at the Infinity place, I started raising a ruckus, and the girl, and like, well, let me get you. What's your code over there? Maybe that's what you had, the squeaky wheel, But again, I have a thing. I have a mental thing, but I am using my credit card when I go to the store now. I don't worry about having a lot of cash. And the problem is, I'm buying more stuff.
I know. You will.
And it's saying I'll buy 2 things of Tide, just make sure I have an extra one. And that's just I got to
apocalypse or something.
No, but I mean,
clothes?
I hate buying, stuff like laundry detergent and filters. You have to carry them funny. The air filters for you. Don't you change your? Oh, you probably don't ever do that. Well, I change my air filter in my attic every month. Why? Every month for your air conditioning unit.
Every month.
Oh my God! You don't know this?
No.
You have to change your filter in your upstairs attic air conditioning thing every month.
You'll have to.
Oh my God! Well, no, you could let it go and explode, Anyway, so but I don't feel I just hate carrying them around and put them in the car. They don't fit anything. They're in the bed. So but again, charging with a credit card's easy because I just buy. Oh, I got to put that in and do them, bing bang. Anyway. That's a thing. A couple things. I got to get the president pervert. Kanye West bought Parler. Kanye West bought Parler. He says, finally, we're going to bring free speech back. No one's going to hold us down.
Whatever.
Well, Google and Apple ganged up on him before and kept him off buying apps. So whether this is going to work, I don't know. I don't know how much he paid. They aren't saying what he paid for it, but Kanye West bought Parler.
At the end of the day, people are still staying on Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah.
They're not leaving to these other sites. They're not even doing Truth Social. It has a little demand, but everybody's staying at Twitter and Facebook.
Pain in the ass.
Yeah. Let's see. A couple more thingities here. My buddy Mikey, I used to work with. Mike Summers was my old co-host morning man back in the 70s. He wrote me, he said, heard an actual promo at the end of CBS Sunday Morning, quote, "We live with inflation and a slowing economy." This is on CBS. A slowing economy. Will this stop Democratic momentum? heading toward the midterm elections. Face the nation today.
Momentum.
He says, say what? Are any polling or any data focus groups suggesting Democrats have a momentum going into this election?
There's one, and someone pointed out yesterday they're always wrong.
Yeah, and they're saying now Biden's approval rating's going up. Yeah, please. I mean, yeah, he's getting. They're liking him more and more lately.
You see, Philadelphia, which is about liberal as it gets.
Yeah, at the ball game, the football game,
booed Jill Biden.
Dr. Jill. Yeah.
Now, if that had been Melania, that's all we'd be hearing about
That's
today.
right. And you can't find that story anywhere
Try
except
and
on
find
social media or the internet. It's not on. You won't find it on the. And by the way, how could they not? If you're if you're the president or the news director or the producer of a major news network news operation, how could you not have the story of American people at a football game booing the first lady?
I know that.
They would do it with Melania or Nancy Reagan or Mamie Eisenhower, but they sure as hell. I mean, it's unbelievable. Again, this is the same way they fixed the election. I can't prove or never will that somebody added 1 million extra votes. We can't prove that somebody took votes and put them into the machines. We think there was shenanigans.
We know there was.
We know there was, but how much I don't know. But I can't prove that. But I can prove that the big tech and the big media made sure that Biden was not going to lose, and that because of things like this. Anyway,
well, it's like Pelosi said when they asked her, was she worried? She goes, "No, we have contingency plans."
Yeah,
she knew,
like the media and big tech,
right?
Censorship. The Hunter laptop never saw the light of day.
Voting machines.
Yeah, all those
the
50
mules.
Yeah. Anyway, they're insidious in their writing. It says at CBS, the audience share is shrinking in mainstream media, but there's still people, unfortunately, who look at CBS as their news source and now thinking, oh my God, the Democrats are making a strong comeback, which is
good. Stay at home. They don't need your vote.
You don't need to vote anymore. A quick Twitter thing. Again, I go on Twitter once a day, maybe, just to see if anything's going on. Oh, and wait do you hear? Have you heard about the Andy McDowell complaints and story on Donald Trunk and so on?
The actress?
Yeah. Hold on, I'll get to that in a minute. First of all,
what is she complaining about now?
Well, I'm going to get right after this story. I'm going to talk about her. First of all, all right, hold on. I got it right here.
She has
I got
a
it right
history
here.
of complaining about stuff.
Well, it's kind of weird. Now, there was a thing at the Hollywood Academy Museum Gala over the weekend, apparently, and Selena Gomez, who used to be Justin Bieber's girlfriend for a long time. They were linked for a long time. Well, Justin Bieber got married to this girl named Haley, who's now Haley Bieber. Mm-hmm. And at this Academy Museum's gala in Hollywood.
It's one of the Baldwin. It's Haley Baldwin is one of the Baldwin brothers' daughters.
Is that right? Well, apparently, Twitter lit up because Selena Gomez and Haley Bieber gave a big hug to each other and were kissing each other on the cheek, and they got together, and Twitter said, oh my God, I can't believe they broke the internet. Selena Gomez and Haley Bieber together, the greatest pop culture plot twist of all time. Haley Bieber and Selena Gomez hugged each other. This is my multiverse of madness, I swear to God. Kelsey says, well, can you finally all leave Selena and Haley in peace? Both were beautiful that evening, and everyone should stop pushing them against each other. It's annoying. Let these women live in peace and be beautiful. The way Haley Bieber and Selena have done more for world peace than the majority of politicians in the world have ever done. Anyway, just Twitter went nuts because these two girls hugged at a gala in Hollywood, and it was an enormous public thing, which I thought was fairly bizarre.
We got breaking news.
Breaking news.
Remember when Obama was first running, and they had that Reverend Wright?
Oh, Jeremiah Wright, who said GD America, not God bless America, GD America, and on, yeah.
Who was remember the other priest, the self-loathing white priest, the Catholic priest up there, Father Flager, with his greasy grill cream hair, hating on whites and hating on America and blah, 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 and running his mouth?
I remember the guy. I remember a guy.
Okay. He has been removed from his ministry over because there's been before, new sexual abuse allegations.
Freaking perverts,
They're
man.
all perverts. All the whole Obama cabal
my God.
were pedophiles and perverts, in my opinion.
Well, they're certainly freaks.
Father Flager.
Yeah, Flager, all right. Oh, ugh.
He's just greasy.
Slimy, yeah, just a degenerate.
Pressure wash.
Andy McDowell fell to her knees because of a Donald Trump-induced panic attack. Check this out.
She fell to her knees for a lot
Check
of
this
reasons.
out. Actress Andy. By the way, didn't she do one of these actresses? I thought it was her. I don't think it was Shield. What's her name? Deborah Shield. Marty. Who's the Brooke Shield? Brooke Shield. I don't think it was her. I think it was Andy McDowell. I think it was Andy McDowell in some commercial. It might have been for jeans. Might have been for something a beauty thing. And she said, "All I know is someday I'm going to see Atlanta." Do you ever remember that line from a commercial? Nope. I swear to God it was her, and I don't remember what
Groundhog
the spot was.
Day.
Yeah, well, that's what made her famous. A Groundhog Day and a couple other things. 4 Weddings and a Funeral was another one. Yep. Anyway, Andy McDowell. Oh God, now I just lost my. Here it is. Andy McDowell was revealed that she suffered a panic attack while on a Hollywood set that caused her to fall to her knees. She experienced a meltdown in part because of former President Donald Trump and because the production crew and cast on the set were a sea of men. McDowell experienced most of her Hollywood success in the 90s, movies like Groundhog's Day, 4 Weddings and a Funeral, admitted that she endured a temporary meltdown in 2016, shortly after Trump was elected president. God, they can't get over this. She said, "I was really disturbed that nobody seemed to care about the vaginal grabbing comment of Donald Trump. I had gotten really sad. I went to do a job, a day's work, and I had my very first panic attack," the 64-year-old actress explained. "I was getting ready to shoot something, and I turn around, and it's like a room full of men. Like a sea of men. It flashed on something that was personal to me, and I dropped to my knees. I left the room and went into this fake bathroom on the set and looked at myself in the mirror and said, 'Get your shit together.' It just freaked me out not seeing any other women. It's not that I have anything against men. I don't. I just don't like being with big groups of men. Since then, I've become very conscious of looking around and finding the women on set for comfort."
So her first response when she saw a bunch of guys was to get down on her knees?
To drop to her knees. Well, again, we can't discourage whatever your behavior might be. She noted that since the Me Too movement, film producer Harvey Weinstein, Drapestein, those guys have improved on movie sets. Me Too's been interesting. You do see more women. She didn't tell what movie or series it was on when she had the panic attack. But anyway, Andy McDowell totally freaked out thinking about Donald Trump. Good. Because there were so many men on the set. What kind? You need help.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Because considering the industry and how successful she is, she knew damn well what Weinstein did.
I think she
she did nothing about that. I'm not saying she was involved or anything, but I'm sure she knew about him.
Well,
and that didn't give her any panic attacks.
Yeah. Andy McDowell, the actress on the Hollywood set, probably never had any kind of flirty moments with producers or co-stars.
She was a model before that too.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think anyway.
That bottle's put up with a lot of that crap too.
That's right. In fact, that's right.
By the way, Mark says that most AC units require every 3 months, not every month. OCD.
I do it every month, and sometimes it's hard to find the 1625 by 1 because they all have special sizes, and sometimes they don't have them, and so I have to wait to get to the next week when I'm going to the thing.
Oh no, a whole week! The carcinogens you're breathing in.
It's a pain. I don't like it. Okay, God, we got so much here to do. Let's do the pervert. Get President Scumbag.
What?
I mean, this is President Joe Diddler. He's at it again. If you haven't seen the video, you have to get the video. Google the video. It was at a speech at the Irvine Valley Community College. President Crime Family came up behind a cute little girl with beautiful long hair. I'm guessing she was 10, 11, 12.
Around there.
Probably 10 or 11. He came up behind her, which is his wont, grabs her shoulders to hold her shoulders, puts his face in her hair, and whispers to her with some advice as she looks completely uncomfortable. Flounder? Take it away.
Oh, look at that.
Look at Dan.
Now, the very important thing I told my daughter and granddaughters, no serious guys in your 30s.
Okay.
Right?
No what?
No serious guys to your 30s.
I'll keep that in mind.
She doesn't want to turn her head to look at him because he's so close to her mouth. If she turned to talk to him, she'd have kissed him.
Ugh.
I mean, look at the video. If she was, trying not to turn because he was all over her.
Do you see the Secret Service guy?
Well, here's the other part of the story. 5 million views on Twitter. Of course, not on ABC, CBS, and NBC. The girl was uncomfortable. They said she said, "Well, I'll keep it in mind," and started chuckling, but was clearly, just freaked out. The guy who took the video says she was obviously screwed up. The Secret Service tried to stop him from videoing the encounter.
Reach through and
And remember, as though that's their job now. What they thought that was a gun, maybe, or they're just trying to protect him from being a pervert and getting caught on video. Remember, they must be working for the FBI part-time. A couple of weeks ago, Biden was giving a speech and recognized a babe in the audience at a teachers' union meeting. Remember, he says, "You got to say hi to me. We go back a long way." Of course, she was 12 and I was 30. But anyway, this woman really helped me out an awful lot. Remember that?
Yeah. and Mitt Romney probably lost the election because he said he had binders of women.
Yeah, folders of women, binders of women.
Oh, and by the way, I think Huey Long made a joke about that over the weekend.
Huey Long?
Huey, not Huey Long. Huey,
Lewis?
no, it's Huey Long. Howie Long.
Oh, the football player. I was going to say.
Okay, between games and commercials, they have Kurt Manatee out there, and they have usually Terry Bradshaw come out and do like a 30-second bit with him.
Yeah, we know it's Manafee, but go ahead.
Well, Howie walks out. He looks like a manatee.
Yeah.
Howie walks out and says, and Kurt goes, "What are you doing here?" He goes, "Well, being the comedic linchpin of this group, I thought you could do with my talents in this situation." And he had a thing there. He says, "I'm the guy who writes all of Terry's lines. In fact, I have a whole binder of Terry's lines." And I'm thinking, why would he say it like that?
I have a binder of women that I'm interested in, or whatever it was. 'Cause it was for a job thing, but they made it as a thing.
I know. It's
Unbelievable. Okay, Pete, I got a million things. I want to talk to you about sports, also the early voting, the Herschel thing, the Democrat camp, a whole bunch of stuff here, and more topics and issues and everything else. First, Dead Crow Defense. This is what a great company this is. Now, I urge you to go onto their website, deadcrowdefense.com, and find out why this is not a gun store or an ammo store. It's your personal arms dealer. Dead Crow Defense is the place that took care of Flounder's 9mm ammo needs. And in fact, when you can't find ammo or can't find it at a good price, they'll find it for you at deadcrowdefense.com. All the common calibers and also the ones that aren't, there are hundreds of calibers out there available for custom orders. Again, working directly with you in this ever-changing world, old-fashioned customer service. If it's right there in front of you when you get a hold of them, it goes shipped out the next day, no goofing around. And if you're in a pinch, I'll give you here's their phone number, area 678-576-9117, or shoot them an email at sales@deadcrowdefense.com, and check them out on the web, deadcrowdefense.com. It's not just guns and ammo, personal safety gear, security supplies, and stuff like that. If you use the web, sales@deadcrowdefense.com, and use the promo code KIMMER, KIMMER, at checkout for 10% off your first several orders at deadcrowdefense.com. Tell them the Kimmer sent you, and again, our thanks for advertising and supporting our Kimmer Show podcast, because it helps us trying to keep this silly thing going. deadcrowdefense.com. Okay, sports. Wow, where do we start? I guess Braves. Start with the Braves. That was over earlier in the weekend.
It seems like it was 4 or 5 days, a week ago.
And it seemed like so long ago.
Because so much happened Saturday that by the time the evening ended, you're like, was that Braves game today?
Well, I know. Well, in fact, I want to make a comment about the whole weekend of TV activities. First of all, quick question: what about Dansby Swanson? Do you have any comment? When's Holy Crap at Sports? Later on?
It was going to be so long I couldn't do it this morning.
That's what she said. That's what she said. Best podcast, Holy Crap at Sports in America. But
Dansby's 50-50 whether they re-sign him, because there's so many shortstops out there.
Well, not only that,
and they have
don't they have a guy coming up they're ready want to put in, right?
Grissom,
Well, if they don't have one of our own, they wouldn't go get somebody else, would they?
You wouldn't think so.
And already somebody else's shortstop.
They gave $20 million to Charlie, and he didn't look so good the last week of the season. Yeah. What are the odds of getting knocked out of 2 straight postseasons with a line drive?
Yeah, I know.
How weird is that?
Anyway, Dansby, I think he wants to stay, obviously, but
yes.
again, he's a free agent, and he had a great last couple of years, last year and also this year. I mean,
I'm telling you right now, I think he's the number one
free agent shortstop.
Yeah, I think, and there's Correa's out there, but look, his numbers aren't so much greater, or even with Dansby. I watched Trey Turner. Part of the reason the Dodgers lost is he made 2 miscues in the same game. He got 1 error, but he made 2 mistakes, and he's going to do that every now and then.
Yeah.
He's faster than Dansby, which is saying a lot.
Yeah.
And he's probably the better offensive player overall just because of his speed, but he's not going to make the plays that Dansby makes.
Well, the thing that will keep Dansby out of a Braves uniform is that he's been so good that somebody's going to offer him $20 million a year for 10 years, and he'll take it.
Yeah, but I think
Freddie's
he wants to stay in Atlanta.
He wants to stay, but that doesn't mean he will.
So did Freddie.
So did Freddie, but Freddie's
Yeah, but I don't think Dansby is as money hungry as Freddie was.
Well, we don't know that.
But again,
Depends what the Braves come up with. It depends how long they want him. And that's the other thing. If there are so many, if they have a shortstop ready to come up, they're not going to want to sign him for 8 years.
Well, Grissom could do it now, not as well.
So, I mean, the issue is not going to be whether they want him to stay. The issue is going to be money from
put
somebody else.
You can put Arcia over there.
Yeah.
He was a shortstop coming up.
But again, that's why it's going to be a tough decision. What, you have a guess whether they're going to keep him?
50-50.
Yeah. I don't have an answer.
And all he's got to do is say, "You gave. We love Charlie, but you gave him $20 million for 1 year."
Yeah, I know.
I'm more important to the team, and he is. Dansby's more important than one starting pitcher.
Yeah. Well, unless he goes 18-3 or something. And by the way, another baseball thing. I'm amazed, and it's not. It can't just be the movement of the ball of the pitches these days. We know the pitches are getting faster and more junk on them, and they have like 5 different pitches now. It used to be fastball, curve, maybe change up, maybe slider, but it was fastball, curve pitchers. Now they all got a bunch of things. I am amazed at how many called strikes there are with a fastball right down the middle, including call 3 strikes. I must have seen 7 or 8 call 3 strikes right down the middle.
One of the reasons the Guardians lost.
Gee, oh my God! And I'm trying to remember back even when I was in Little League or Babe Ruth or whatever. And sometimes you just get frozen. But in the
They're
pros,
guessing.
They're guessing. They're looking for something else, and they can't pull the trigger.
That's
not the way to do it.
They have to because the pitches are so
many.
fast
Yeah,
now
I know.
that they gotta guess.
Yeah, you
And
can't
it's
wait for the
bad
fastball and
baseball.
hope it's a.
I watched both Ramirez and Naylor every single time last night. Garrett Cole would start them out with a slider, a curveball, low and inside, and they'd swing every single time. I could quit doing that.
Yeah.
And then he wait to the third
And then
strike
he'd
and
do
he'd throw it
the-
right
yeah.
down the middle, and
Right.
they just sit there and look at it.
I wrote a note. How many called third strikes right down the middle. And it wasn't a slider on the outside corner. I mean, right down the middle. Anyway, just an observation. Again, I'm not. I couldn't do it. I'm not a pro baseball player, so who am I? I'm not criticizing. I'm just amazed.
As mad as Braves fans are and disappointed, because once again, it's like the 1990s and 2000s.
We
once
had
again,
a great year. There's no reason to get down on the Braves.
Oh yeah, there is.
Well,
this team is built to win World Series now. It's not built to win the divisions. It's not built to go to the damn playoffs. If you don't win the World Series these days for the Braves, it's a disappointing year. The future is bright, but anything can happen.
Yeah, but at least they went for it. I mean, they signed. They paid a lot of money for guys, and we're trying to do it. And
they're set for the next few years, and that's great.
Yeah.
But you can't. It's a disappointing year if they don't go or win the World Series.
Well, I think we expected to at least be in the World Series, if not to win it. We should have been in there.
Yeah.
We should have at least been in the pennant race.
Because look what's going on now. The Dodgers are gone.
Yeah.
The Mets were long
All
gone.
the big times,
The
yeah.
friggin' Yankees might be gone tonight.
Yeah. Yankees and Cleveland, for God's sakes.
The only big team left is the Astros,
Yeah.
who probably will win it all.
Yeah.
And
I don't know why I don't like them. I don't know why
they
I
cheated.
just...
Nobody likes them. No one likes
That
them.
might be it from the time
And I'll
back.
tell you another thing. This is an unpopular opinion. I don't like Dusty Baker. Everyone's going, oh, well, he used to play for the Braves. He was on deck when Hank hit the home run. I don't give a shit. He was
Yeah,
a Dodger.
what's that got to do with
He
it?
was a Dodger for most of his career. To me, he was always a Dodger. I don't like him.
Yeah. Well, I respect him as a manager.
Yeah,
I don't have any negative comment, but he's not. I don't feel great about it because he used to play for the Braves for
give a
3 years.
crap.
What's that got to do with anything? Let's see. Called strikes, beam. Okay, now some other sports things. Holy crap! All right. Before I even get to the holy crap thing, there were so many things going on between the Alabama-Tennessee game, the Georgia game, the baseball playoffs, and all this stuff all happening almost at the same time, and the Seattle game that went to 18 innings or whatever, and I'm going back and forth when I was home to try to get all of the things, and because I'm going back and forth, I missed everything. I missed the final thing that Tennessee won the game. I missed that. I missed the final thing of the Seattle game. I missed that. I'm going, son of a bitch. Every time I go, it's over. What do you mean it's over?
Oh, it's amazing.
There were like 4 games. I'm trying to keep, and I missed every single one.
They were all at the same time.
They were all going on, and I missed every football game. I missed everything. I mean, the ending of every one.
2
of them.
TVs.
Yeah, I was about to say you got to get.
Did you see Brett Barney sent me a tweet Saturday night? He had 4 TVs up.
Well, you had to. I mean, I'm so angry. I was so mad. I missed every one. I went back to the Seattle game. It's over?
I sat here for 18 innings.
I kept going back for 5 hours. The game was on for 5 hours.
I'm telling you, it was boring baseball.
Yeah, it was.
And I
It
used
was
to
an
love
exciting
games like
pitcher's
that.
duel. It was not, yeah.
Name me another sport that does something all season long, and everybody gets used to it, and everybody's fine with it because it's fair.
Yeah.
The ghost runner in extra innings.
Yeah.
It's fair. Everybody knows it. And then for the playoffs, it's, nah, we're not going to do that rule anymore.
I don't.
How stupid is that?
I don't understand.
Okay, in the history of baseball postseason, there had never been a game that went 14 innings scoreless. They had 2 in a week.
Yeah.
2 in a week. And frankly,
And this one went.
the first one was fine in Cleveland and a walk-off homer. Okay. The second one, we're sitting there going, God, this is boring.
Yeah.
Put a ghost runner out there. This is ridiculous.
Well, I don't know why they keep. I mean, I don't know what if they're trying to make a specific outcome, then be consistent. Get the outcome
Yeah,
you're looking. Well, how come the outcome in the playoffs is not the same as the outcome you
know.
want in the season?
It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
know.
Everybody's used to the ghost runner now. Everybody says fine. Why take it away?
Yeah, I know. Anyway, so I missed every freaking.
Well, my thing was, I would sometimes walk out. Listen, the last 2 months, every time I walk out in the bathroom or go out on the balcony, I'm literally out there 30 seconds. I come back and I will have missed the score, the touchdown, the home run every time.
That's going to be on top 10 tomorrow. You know.
You son of a.
And then, well, I thought this was pretty funny. I'm watching I didn't see the ending of the Tennessee Alabama game. So clearly, I mean, I knew they were. It was pretty great. I was looking at the ball game. You know, I kept going
From a
back
crowd
and
reaction,
forth.
that was the most insane.
Yeah.
That was crazy to
I
see.
kept going back. I wanted to see Alabama lose, and I missed it. I missed the thing. But anyway, when I finally did go back and see what was going on, the first thing I see is the student body not only on the goalpost trying to get it onto the ground, I see them walking it up the steps of the stadium to take it out and throw it in the river.
Did you see the president of the school was up top smoking a cigar, watching it all happen? He goes, "We'll have to do this every year."
Yeah, he said now they're asking alumni and fans to buy the new goalposts.
That game alone brought in millions.
Oh, believe me, there's more.
What the heck? Oh, by the way, they had 65% of their goal last night. They probably got 100% now.
I'm sure of it. They're asking people to send in. Was it $19? What is it? $16. Those who choose to donate can give $16, the amount that corresponds to the number of years it took Tennessee to beat Alabama again. Or you can send in $52.49. Which represents the final score, $25, $100, $250, $500, or $1,019.15, which corresponds to the capacity of sold-out Neyland Stadium.
Wait a minute.
1,019,15.
Wait. This
109,000 people.
This is an awful lot of arithmetic and ciphering
For Tennessee.
fans. Just give them a blanket. Send $100.
Yeah, and it was Chase McGrath nailed a 40-yard field goal to give Tennessee
He almost
the win.
missed the damn thing.
And I
it was close.
missed it all.
You know what it reminded me of when I was a kid? When Archie and Ole Miss went up against the Bear in Alabama, I think Scott Hunter was the quarterback, and they went back and forth. It was the first nationally televised Saturday night game on ABC, college football.
Really?
And
Huh.
it made college football it was 68 or 69. And they went back, and Ole Miss lost because they missed an extra point.
Oh, boy.
And at the beginning of the game, Tennessee missed that extra point. And I think, oh, you can't
it's gonna
miss an
come back
extra
to
point.
haunt 'em.
But today, with the 2-point conversion,
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Well, it was anyway. What a weekend of sports. Anything other thing you want to bring up?
The Falcons.
Oh, the
You did
Falcons.
before
That was the
Falcons.
other thing. I was trying to watch the
What are you,
Falcons.
CBS?
No.
ESPN, totally ignoring them.
Again, that was another thing I was watching too. At the whole, at all the football games, and I wanted to see all the stuff. And again, the Falcons. I'll tell you what. Even when they lost, they looked pretty good. I mean,
He's a coach. He's got them playing as a team.
yeah.
They don't
I see them
quit.
flying around. I see guys, I love it when the offensive linemen are pushing the running back who gets stopped at the line of
It's
scrimmage. All of a
rugby.
sudden, look out. And
rugby.
you see like 5 of these 350-pound guys are just bam. And
I don't know why they don't do
You'd
that.
think they'd hurt him more from the back than the guys tackling him from the front.
Every drive, they should do that at least
Yeah,
once.
just everybody pile on
See
and
how
push
far
the
they
guy
can
8
go.
yards. They're going to have to stop that. That's not fair.
No, they're
But
not
again,
gonna stop. It's fun. People love it.
Well, again, but I every time I see an offensive lineman pushing a guy, a tackle, a defensive tackle out of the way, I think, oh my God, if you can, when you can use your hands to push a guy on the offensive line.
I tell you what, to show how good these defenses are and how fast these players
Yeah.
are, get up and walk 10 yards. Get up and walk 10 yards.
All right.
What do you think 10 yards are?
Well, it's 10 steps, but I don't know if I have 10 steps paces in here. I can probably do it.
Start in the corner here. He's starting in the corner. Kimmer's starting in the corner.
there.
And go in that corner. Yeah.
You want me to start?
Yeah. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Okay. You're standing a little bit out on the patio. It's basically through the wall.
I'm
Okay.
40 feet away.
That's not very far. That's not very far. So get back over here. Yeah, that's not the wrong way. So get back to the microphone, Mr. Broadcaster,
You idiot.
professional. Mr. Broadcast professional.
I was probably
Sit down. I'm through
probably
making
good
you do
30 or
stupid stuff.
40 feet away.
Okay, that's not very far.
No, it's
And when you're down on the football field and sidelines, you go, this 10, how can they not get 10 yards?
Yeah.
They got 3, now 4. everyone
4
going.
times, 4 shots.
They got 4 shots. How can you not get
Yeah.
that? That just shows how fast and how good these defenses are to stop these grown men from just getting 10 lousy yards. It's not that much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a whole different. I mean, it's such a different game now than.
But it's fun to watch the Falcons again, win or lose.
Yeah.
It's fun to, and everyone's talking. They talked about today how Greenberg said if they hadn't got screwed against Tampa, we'd be leading the division. Right now we're tied
They're now
for
tied
the top.
in first place in the division.
We lost the
with Tampa.
tiebreaker, but with them because we got screwed. But we would
Yeah.
have been on top if we hadn't been screwed, probably.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everyone's talking and saying good things about the Falcons.
Yeah.
Mariota play, and they've got the key: throw less than 15 times a game and run the ball. You've got 3 good running backs, and Cordell didn't even
Yeah.
play.
Play to your strengths. I mean, do what you have. Play your hand. Whatever
And
you're
guess-
dealt, that's what you got. You got
Plus,
to
there's
play
a
the
lot of
cards. you got.
touchdowns and no field goals.
Kyle Pitts, Drake London. Imagine if they had Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
And when does he come back?
I
Next
think
year?
it's all year. It's a whole year, isn't it?
Is it a whole year that he gets? At this point, with the gambling thing they've
that's
totally accepted it.
A little,
Come on, man.
ridiculous. Especially, we got a team in Vegas, for God's sakes. I mean,
Well, since the Cincinnati Reds have put a betting parlor into their stadium now,
really?
and have integrated it into their
to bet on
ballpark.
baseball?
Yeah. Well, baseball's
Wow.
easy. Is the next pitch a curve? Is he gonna foul it off? Is
Yeah.
it gonna be a strike? Is it gonna be a ball? Will the catcher miss it?
Oh,
Will it
the-
be a
oh,
pa-
the-
There's a
the
million
side bet's
things
gotta be,
to
yeah.
bet every single
Prop bets
pitch.
or whatever, yeah.
Who's gonna is it gonna fly ball, a grounder, a double play?
Yeah.
There's a billion
Yeah.
bets.
If the umpire throws the ball back, is it going to land on the dirt or the grass? I mean, remember, we used to do
There's
that
more
watching ball
betting
games.
in baseball than there could be
Yeah.
with football
Oh,
if people
guarantee-
got into that.
Oh,
the
oh,
little stuff.
I guarantee it. Oh, I'm getting a telemarketer call.
Oh, tell them to go fuck off.
Well, it'll be an
That's
automated,
what I
or I
started
would.
doing now. You enter my house unannounced
Yeah.
on a Sunday afternoon. Fuck off.
Yeah, but they're automated, or I
Yeah,
definitely.
some poor bastard named Patel in Mumbai is going, why are you yelling at me?
Hello, my name is Mary Jane.
I'm Bob.
Hello, because of.
Call me
How
Bob.
are you, however?
I feel sorry for them. They got a job, you know. They don't know. It's a job. They're in an air-conditioned hut somewhere. And we're sitting there cussing them out. How are you, however? Next time somebody calls me, how are you, however?
Well, I do that because it reminds me of on my honeymoon, my final wife. No, it wasn't my honeymoon. It was, in fact, I think it was where I asked her to marry me, and she said no, and then I, like an idiot, asked her again a couple days later. But anyway, stupid. I mean, God, you idiot. On the cliffs of Acapulco, Cayuga 222 was the name of the restaurant on this site. Anyway, full moon, beautiful thing. And we watched cliff divers. And there were cliff divers jumping off the cliffs of Acapulco. And this wasn't at nighttime. This was earlier in the day.
Right.
And then you watch the cliff divers, and then you have your dinner, and they bring out all the dinner, very expensive dinner and all. So as they're bringing out the dinner, we're having our dinner, sitting there on the balcony overlooking where they jumped in the water. All of a sudden, these 3 or 4 little brown fellows in wet bathing suits start walking toward us, and they say, "Hello to you because of. We are the divers now and then because of. We are here to help you have the many times of happiness for your pleasure, however." Shit like that. They were looking for tips. They were going to all the tables hoping people would give them. I already paid you $400 to watch you jump off a rock. Anyway. But that was broken English.
I'm glad you brought that up. If I can interject here
Yes,
on
please
something
do.
we're going to talk about later, but we'll talk about now since you just brought it up.
Yes.
Good friend Jim Sly.
Sly in the family, Jim, as I used to call him, my nickname for him.
Works for an airline here in town, and so he gets to fly over, and he stays over, and he tours the cities where he goes to.
All right.
He sends back on Facebook all these great photos of all these weird places he goes to when he flies around. So the other day, he is going in someplace to eat, and he goes, "Call me cheap, I don't care. These are obnoxious. Tip means to ensure promptness, TIP.
Right.
Not
It's a reward for good service.
Good service.
If you're treated well, you should give them a little something extra if you want to. Yeah.
It's not thanks for coming to work. Here's a trophy. Now,
Right.
hand me my donut.
Right.
Tell your boss to pay you more, not me. They got have you been to the places where they do it on a computer and they turn it around? And there's a tip thing. There's several different choices of which tip you can hit. And they do it at the Euro Place at Perimeter Mall. They do it at several restaurants now. Blue Moon does it, where they flick it around and let you decide, do you tip them? All they did was hand you something. Took
This
your
is
money.
like a counter thing?
Yeah,
Well, it's like having a tip jar on the counter for people.
Qdoba does it. No,
that's
Qdoba,
not
you can watch them make it, and they're doing what you ask and stuff like that. They're actually servicing you.
Yeah.
But there are others where they just go back and they get the pizza and they bring it out.
I'm trying to think of the last time I went into a place and they gave me something and there was a tip jar. I think
No, it's not a tip jar. It's a computer that they turn around and you have to choose.
I've never seen that.
Really?
That would offend me, I think.
Really? Well, get used to it.
Well, I mean, if you're paying by credit card or something, is that okay? Now, see, I've never experienced that. If I'm in a place where they're just handing me something, if I order something and they hand it to me, if there's a tip jar, I might leave a buck, or I remember in the past leaving a buck just on general principle for the staff or whatever.
Not anymore.
But
Now it's like, all right, well, the machine's going to prompt you with a couple questions. Let us know. And the first thing
See, I
is
don't-
tip, and I'm like, no,
Yeah,
I'm not
no,
trying to
I-
be cheap, but you're
yeah,
already
I
getting an
think
hourly
that's-
wage. Why do I need to tip you?
It depends on, like Qdoba, where they make it in front of you and everything. Yeah, okay, they did a good job and they were friendly. I'll give them a little bit on that. But there's been a few that I've walked out on that were rude, and it's like, no, you're not getting that.
Well, I mean, what do they ask? What do they mean by tip? I mean, if I go up and order something and they go back there and then they bring it to me, I'm not giving the guy 20% of the value of the bill. I mean,
That's
they
one
look
of the
at,
choices. It says gratuity on a lot of them. too.
and is
You know
it
what
like
tip
20%
stands for? I've told you all
somebody
this.
to
You know
hand
what-
it to you?
You know what tip stands for?
No, what does it stand for?
To ensure promptness.
Just-
Did you already read that?
Yeah, we just said
Oh,
that.
damn it.
Twice.
Show started at 1.
Hey, the man's got shit to
He's got a
do.
lot to do over there.
I was taking notes.
I didn't
doing
say this.
stuff.
Friday, I looked over there, like I caught him doing the Waldo
Well,
thing.
yeah, I know.
caught him over there. There's a woman feeling herself up over there.
Well, you can't. You might
And
have.
you quickly went. It was Twitter, and you quickly moved up away from.
Sometimes a strange woman looks like she needs help arranging her breasts.
Yeah.
If you once in a while,
Right there.
ma'am, these are a little off center. I'm sorry. We need to get those
Off
babies
kilter.
back. Just we'll fall. You could fall. You could trip.
Now, let
The
me-
dizziness. I mean, the whole balance. It's just. Anyway, and I'm not even a boob man. I could care. I have no. It's never was a thing for me.
I am ladies.
You are lately.
No, I am ladies. I am lately and mid-age and youthful. Always been a breast man.
Well, I'm happy. Well, that's good.
Face and breast.
I'm a leg guy. We have been. Start down and look up.
And if you got bangs?
Never get above the thing. Well, I don't even know what that means. How are we doing? Oh, God, we're just going crazy here. Early voting begins today.
Really?
Yep.
I don't trust it.
Well, in person.
Well, they said, I'm basically the only, we're the only white people here when I go into mine. And they're all looking at me like, well, who you voting for, white boy? And it's like, I don't know if they're not erasing it as soon as I leave.
Well, then that's always could be the case.
I know.
What's the difference? Well, then you don't believe in voting. You don't believe there's any such thing as safe
I
voting.
don't believe much in it now, no.
Well, okay, well, anyway.
I'm going to vote.
Yeah.
But I don't trust any of them.
Well, that's true too. But again, I'm gonna try to do it. Although today probably will be, by the time I get there, would be mobbed. There's a library in Alfred I could go to, but I'll bet you I'm gonna try definitely this week. I will definitely early vote.
I'm going to drive by and see what the lines do.
I'm gonna check it out this afternoon. I'm not going to the stable this afternoon, but I am gonna try. I've got things I have to do, but I'm gonna try to get early voting in. Well, let's see. They're expecting a record level of an off-year election could reach 4 million plus. The in-person voting lasts for 3 weeks till November 8th. Voting locations required to be open every weekday and 2 Saturdays. Some are even open more. That's the requirement. You can go to, just Google, Alpharetta voting place or early voting or just early voting in your area. Of course, if you're listening now in Finland, like our Kimmer babes, and Sweden and so forth, and Australia, and in Florida, Governor DeSantis is making the liberal media nation haters wet their pants. Have you heard about this? No. Because of the hurricane, DeSantis is allowing more mail-in ballots and easier access to early voting for the counties that were hit the hardest. The Washington Post, The Guardian, for example, all these liberal medias are screaming that it's a political stunt because the counties he singled out are heavily Republican. Gee, you mean the Democrats have never tried to use politics to win power and try to get people to vote for their guy instead? No, like never been any Russian collusion or hiding somebody's conspiracy laptops. No FBI Nazi leadership to overthrow an elected president. No perverted crime boss as president thanks to collusion between the media and big tech and Democrats. On and on. I mean, Democrats have never done anything like this. Plus, if you were hit and you happen to be Republican, so what? It's got nothing. If you're a victim of the hurricane, you deserve you can pay your taxes till next year now. If you had filed for today's the deadline for those who filed income tax. Deferrals or late filing thing. You can get 3 months extension, filing your extension. Today's the deadline for filing the extension to your income taxes for 2021, last year. However, if you were in a hurricane and you wanted an extension, you get till like next April or something. You get many more months, I think. Anyway.
I couldn't remember the word because I've never actually used an extension for anything. So.
Putty Tat's coming to Atlanta to campaign for Raphael Weifnacher, the deadbeat dad.
Panic time.
Yeah. Oh, well, you better believe it because he's the only one anybody's going to pay any attention to.
Herschel
did
well.
Herschel did great. In fact, let's talk about it. Again, I'm embarrassed to say. What's that?
Kevin has a question.
Yes.
What does TIP stand for?
You don't need to raise your hand for a question.
Look it up.
Let's.
Okay.
Oh my God! Sure. What now?
Herschel.
The debate. I didn't. Again, I was so involved with everything else, I missed it. But I've seen a lot of highlights and a lot of so far. He did great. He was confident. He was sure of himself. He made some brilliant comments, which even the Democrats have had to say he did. I mean, they had to admire him. Even the Al Jazeera Constitution said they were happy with this debate showing. They called it a make or break deal, and I think it made him. I think there are a lot of people are saying, "Geez, he didn't look like the guy they've been talking about for 2 months."
He screwed up in one sense, though. When Warnock said something to him, he should have done this. What was that?
Excuse me? You want to say that again?
Well, the only
You're
thing,
talking to me?
the only thing he's getting criticized for is the badge.
He pulled out the badge, but again, what a great moment. You're not supposed to use props. You're not supposed to use props.
And the
in
thing
debate.
is technically it's a legit badge. It's a voluntary
but still,
badge.
he
and-
said, this is not a prop. It's a badge.
Twitter's like the fact that Warnock did the whole joke, which they've been doing for a year now.
Yeah.
Basically said that the room with the doctor and the woman looking for an abortion, maybe, and
Right.
advice. It's too small a room to have the federal government in there with her. And Herschel's with them. And Herschel said, well, you've said that over and over again, and Democrats say that over and over again, but you never mention the fact that there's the woman and the doctor and a baby.
A baby. What a great line. Again, I think I'll bet you that his new speech advisor, communications advisor, he made a couple of really solid points, and I guarantee you they made sure that he was aware of what to say at that time because he knew what was going to happen when he said, you forgot the baby. Oh, holy cow. I mean, that was a monster moment.
They knew the Democrats were going to go lean on that.
Yeah.
All they have is abortion and Trump. That's all
Yeah.
they have.
Yeah.
They're not running on the economy.
Yeah.
Do you see where even CNN, was it CNN or MS, who jumped them the other day, over the weekend, saying, why hasn't the Inflation Reduction Act reduced inflation?
Right.
And the woman says, well, you can get brakes on your solar panels now.
Yeah.
And it was
Tax
like,
breaks.
What does that got to do with
Yeah.
inflation?
So in other words, you have to spend money to buy things to save money with a tax break, which helps inflation.
so you have to spend more money that you don't have.
Yeah. It's like your wife buying a $50,000 car that was going to be $80,000 and she saved you $30,000. Honey, you didn't save me $30,000. You
Cost me
spent $50,000.
$50,000.
I'm not kidding. When I was a kid, that was
But I still love you.
that was a Blondie and Dagwood Bumstead joke.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
She
sure
came
of it.
home and sit with a bunch of
Oh, I'm
sacks.
so excited.
Said, I saved you some money
saved
today.
You hundreds.
And Dagwood's going, oh.
Great. I'm so excited now. Anyway, that was rather
I
bizarre.
don't meet anyone named Dagwood anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Dagwood,
I've
Herbert,
never met
Egbert.
anybody.
There's a lot
Did
of
you ever eat
names
at
that are-
Dagwood's Pizza on Spalding and Holcomb Bridge? Delicious pizza.
No, I don't
Well,
think I did.
by pizza, of course, that makes more sense.
Dagwood's Pizza, great place to go.
He made sandwiches, remember? His sandwiches.
Oh
and all
yeah!
this
Oh god!
stuff.
That was called the Dagwood, and that was what the Dagwood sandwich was his deal. Something out of the past. I heard Glenn Beck talk about this last week. He said he wanted somebody to offer. There was an auction of a pair of Levi's jeans, and Glenn Beck said, "I want somebody to call him and offer him $100,000 right now." Before you even have the auction, I'll give you $100,000 right now. And apparently the guy didn't do it or he didn't get through or whatever because some worn Levi's jeans from the 1880s that were found in a mine were sold at auction for $87,000. Now,
What good are those jeans?
well, you don't know the story yet. They were purchased by two men, Kyle Hautner and Zip Stevenson, for more than 50%. They own a vintage denim store in Los Angeles. They put their winning bid at Durango Vintage Festivus. Festivus for the rest of us. The pants, which feature, again, they're used, worn 1880s Levi jeans, frayed hems, fade marks, paint stains, and several holes, can still be worn despite their poor shape. A couple of similar pairs of jeans of Levi's exist but are in museums and too delicate to wear. Stevenson said offers from a private buyer would be considered, like Glenn Beck, but that he would prefer the jeans to be purchased and displayed in a museum such as the Smithsonian or the Metropolitan Museum of Art. The jeans are currently staying in a safety deposit box in Los Angeles. People can view the jeans by booking an appointment at Stevenson's store. Here's why. The jeans have a 38-inch waist, 32-inch length, an artifact. You let me finish the story. They're an artifact of the nation's troubled history. The pants feature the words, quote, "the only kind made by white labor," and that's printed on the inside of the pocket, a reference to the time period's increased anti-Chinese rhetoric.
Yeah.
An economic crisis in the United States in the 1870s led to high unemployment and fueled anti-Chinese sentiment and rampant discrimination, according to a Levi Strauss spokesman. In 1882, when Congress passed the Chinese Exclusion Act, there was significant social pressure not to hire Chinese workers, and Levi Strauss adopted an anti-Chinese labor policy. They're admitting, they're saying this because it was
they
true.
are now.
It was true back then. The act prohibited Chinese laborers from coming into America for 10 years.
Yeah, I remember that.
Levi's had marketed its clothing as made by white labor because it's believed this would increase sales by aligning with views held by Americans at that time.
In California.
In California, in writing, made by white people. What's this? Oh, I need to blow my nose? What? Kleenex? Something happened. Something bad. I spilled something? You're pointing at something. I don't see it. Did I do something bad? Well, am I bleeding?
Yes.
Where? Am I bleeding?
If you stop for seconds, quit flailing around, you'd see it.
Oh, I'll be damned.
Here's my last minute. Quit doing that. Quit doing that.
Well, it's just blood.
Here's my last minute. I'm looking over you bleeding, and all I can picture is you getting it on the wall and the speakers and everything. So I throw it. And then I look over at Flounder, and Flounder is literally doing this. Literally, he's going. And I catch him doing it, and he's like, "Oh, that's no big deal. I'm just talking. I'm just pantomiming to myself."
I'm having a conversation in my head about this damn chair.
He's literally.
Well, okay, I have this was bleeding too. This Band-Aid is on a mark. Because, well, I take blood thinners, and it takes no. If I scratch myself, I'm going to bleed. So
Cindy wanted to know who stabbed you.
no, and again, it's done. It's just a little teeny
I'm
little.
gonna
But again, it happens all the time. Well, sorry about that.
That was my last minute. You two nutballs.
I know. I'm sorry. Coming up, the fired Christian, the boycott of the tranny makeup and beauty company, pouring out the milk in the stores. Have you seen this protest? Believe me, I can't believe people are just standing around watching
Well,
it.
you'll be arrested.
Somebody's got to clean it up.
That's what. If the grocery store allows it, I'm not shopping there anymore.
That manager should have hit them in the face.
They'd arrest the manager.
Well, anyway, good. Well,
Call
fine.
the
Then
cops.
I want a jury trial. Anyway, also the suitcase girl, and you'll hear from Bill Burr.
I just think those guys are milking this for all it's worth.
Oh, hey, you can't.
It's utterly ridiculous.
No, you can't squeeze any more out of me on that one, sir. Also, they caught.
Grade A asshole.
They may have caught the guy who robbed Julio Jones's place while he was out, not at his little place there. Also, I got a Dear Abby, which I may get to, which is a little weird, and the kinds of parents, which is a very interesting article from one of my Kimmer periodicals, and a musical birthday list coming up here. But first, our good friends and sponsor of the Kimmer Show podcast, our buddies at M&S Title Pawn, are here to tell you about their offering for you, a lovely segment of the show brought to you by our folks in Bremen, Georgia, M&S, the two letters M&S, M&S Title Pawn, on Laurel Street, 306 Laurel Street, Suite A, open in person Monday through Saturday. And if you want to get them on the phone, here's the number, 678-821-3337. And again, this M&S Title Pawn is showing you 24 years of experience in personal finance, locally owned company, simple, straightforward terms, no hidden fees, no gimmicks. They offer a tiered rate for pawns. Their exceptional customer service will help you looking for your next vehicle, taking care of your pawn situation. Again, here's the number, 678-821-3337. If you want to get them on the web, spell out M&S Title, and it comes out manstitle.com, M-A-N-D-S title.com. Tell them the Kimmer sent you, and thank you, our fine folks and supporters and sponsors, M&S Title Pawn in Bremen, Georgia. Let's see. Have you heard about the, well, you probably haven't because I'm about to tell you now. There's a lady who is a strong Christian. She's a child care teacher, And she was as in California, a child care teacher, and she was terminated and has been bullied and mistreated because of her religious objection to reading books to little children under the age of 6 concerning same-sex couples. And her name is Nellie Perinskova, I believe it is. She worked 4 years at the Bright Horizons Children's Center, Studio City, California. That's a major company. It has hundreds of locations, 26,000 employees. The director of the location learned of her religious objections to the material and refused a request for religious accommodation and ultimately created a hostile work environment and then terminated her. The teacher is a devout Christian. Reading such books would violate her religious beliefs and constitute promotion of intimate relationships that are contrary to the teachings of her faith. She requested a religious accommodation. That was denied. Instead, they issued a memo with false statements terminating her life insurance, requiring her to complete training in diversity, and encouraged her to quit, and she could not return to work without an accommodation, so they fired her. The centers celebrate LGBT History Month. They were in Pride Parade. This is the Bright Horizons Child Care Center. They go to History Month parades. They're part of the parades. They read LGBT-themed books. They endorse the Equity Act for gender, sexual orientation, and gender identity. And, of course, her lawyers are saying this is outright based, deliberate discrimination, and so they're suing. But again, what more do you need? Now, another rather bizarre situation here concerning a company called Ulta, U-L-T-A, Ulta Beauty. They are now facing a boycott from angry female customers after this company invited a transgender influencer named Dylan Mulvaney, who dresses like a girl and wears makeup and long hair wigs, stuff like that. This guy dressing like a girl was on a podcast called The Joy of Girlhood, where he vowed to become a mom. Ulta Beauty has 1,200 salons across the country. Furious women are upset about this guy because they showcase the diversity of women that use the brand, but the clip was quickly seized on by customers for the controversial part of it, that the guy was a guy.
With a beard.
They slammed this guy Mulvaney for describing her genitals as a Barbie pouch. So he still has his balls, but he says it's a Barbie pouch. Oh my God, that's my daughter Sarah calling.
Quit saying the word Barbie pouch is what you say.
Feminists accuse her of woman face, claim she's play acting the parts of a woman she enjoys, but none of the misogyny faced by actual females every day. This 25-year-old TikTok man dressed like a girl is being interviewed by a gender-fluid hairdresser about all things girlhood. So the tranny says, "Oh, I want to be a mom one day, and I absolutely can. The narrative still has a long way to go." Well, customers took to the social media places to slam the podcast, saying the influencer trolling women. He is known for her days of childhood, where he talks about discussing things that he believes are accessible to her as a tranny woman, including finding love, being a performer, having a family, and being a mother. Now he says, "I know as a girl, I know I can find love. I know I can still be a performer. I know I can have a family. I want to be a mom one day, and I absolutely can." And that's why the narrative still has a long way to go, because when I was grieving boy Dylan, I didn't know those things were even accessible to me. Now he's girl Dylan, you see. There's so much shame, so much stigma. I had this idea of trans people, and it was weird because I knew I was trans, yet had the transphobia of myself. Oh,
bigot.
Well, I'm so glad that he's able to come to terms with his own
bigotry.
I mean, and again, now there's a potential boycott
Clown world
of these people. Now, speaking of boycotts, Have you seen this lady? It's on the news, and some people are talking about it. I feel bad I didn't answer Sarah's call. She left me a voicemail, and I'm very bad that I didn't get to her. Grocery stores, not only in Britain but around the world, apparently, starting in Britain, are having examples of protest teenagers who go into the store, pick up cartons of cow-produced milk, not goat milk, I guess, and pour it out on the floor.
Yeah.
Right there, the whole thing right on the grocery
Spoiled
store's
children.
floor.
Spoiled children.
Over the sales counters, everywhere they feel like it, because the dairy industry is incredibly environmentally destructive, they say. Countries around the world have imposed regulations on the agricultural industry, such as limits on nitrogen emissions of cow farts. The use of dairy alternatives such as almond or soy, coconut, and oat milk have also been criticized. And of course, President Pervert Child Sniffer is indicating he wants to push changes on U.S. farming just like it's done overseas. And you've seen what's happened to him.
Give it your best shot, asshole.
Oh, my God.
We're not putting up with it here. We're
the
armed. The
danger.
farmers here are armed.
They're not going to take. I hope they try. Well, they are trying.
We're going to nationalize the damn farms from the people and take it back from the Chinese and take it back from whoever the hell. The Microsoft, Bill Gates, who's buying up all the farmland. Yeah. You don't think we can't take that back?
Yeah. I mean, I'm guaranteeing you this is not. I mean, they're trying. They've been trying the whole. This is part of the Green New Deal, part of the ESG. This is part of the Democrat Party.
Why don't you do that? Why don't you go check your voicemail, make sure it's not anything important while I do
Where the
a
hell's
little.
my blood spot? I can't find it.
Well, I do a little thing here.
There it is.
So.
Oh yeah, please do.
So go out, step outside, and take your
All
little
right.
call there, and
Well,
then I'll do a FarmhousePrintingCo.com commercial. That's right, FarmhousePrintingCo.com. It's a great company right here in Sonoya, Georgia. You can stop by. You can go on Twitter. You can go all the places to check them out. FarmhousePrintingCo.com. Just check out with Eric and the gang. They print custom shirts and hats and signs and promotional items. No minimum order, no setup fees, and now with laser engraving. If you bring a cow down there, they will. Well, I doubt though. But if you bring a dead one, they'll probably do it. Leather goods, caps, signs. What else? What have you gotten from them, Flounder, from FarmhousePrintingCo.com?
Gotten some T-shirts. Got a hoodie request out there.
Yeah,
So Eric's always helping me out.
That's good. So always FarmhousePrintingCo.com.
In fact, I've got to call. I forgot to leave Eric a message. I need business cards with our post office box address on it. So I'll give
Who
him
are
a
you going to
message.
give these business cards out to? Who still does business cards? Are you
No,
Japanese?
I'm sorry. I don't mean business
you
cards.
Japanese?
No, I mean return address labels.
Are you a
For
psychopath?
when people, well, if we have a mailbox, I'm going to send them a thank you note, and instead of putting my personal home address,
Thank
I'll
you
put our
notes.
new post office box.
With thank you notes. He can print those up for you.
Well, there's an idea too.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that. With maybe like our logo on it, or a Marine Corps globe and anchor or something.
Can you put the Marine Corps thing on it?
Oh, kind of if I feel like it.
Let him come get me.
Anyway, Sarah's message was so sweet. They're on fall break. They have apparently a couple of days off,
Already?
a fall break for some reason. And so she was riding the car with Brady and Molly, and they were saying, "Hi, Gramps. Hi, Gramps. Love you." And just saying hi and stuff, which I thought was so sweet. So now I feel bad that I anyway.
So the dog didn't say hi?
Whatever.
Dog didn't like it?
No, he wasn't. Yeah, Wilson. No, he wasn't there for part of that. Okay, what another bizarre? This story was. It's creepy, but you should know about it because it might indicate something.
They didn't
else
name that
is-
dog after Russell Wilson, did they?
No, they named it after the Wilson Sporting Goods because they have. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
They could have called him Spalding, Spalding.
Get your foot off the dog.
How many times have I talked to you about your language? Sorry, Grandpa. A missing Paris girl, 12 years old, has been found in a suitcase. Her throat was cut, and there were numbers placed on her corpse with some kind of a device.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was missing Friday night, never returned from school in Paris. Her father is the caretaker of the building where the family lived. He saw footage of the girl with a woman in her 20s later, and then that same woman was later seen on the CCTV footage carrying a suitcase out of the building. Investigators said that when the girl was missing, searched the basement of the building, discovered evidence of a kidnapping. Later, somebody reported a suitcase a few streets away from where the family lived. Inside the suitcase was the 12-year-old girl's dead body. Her throat had been sliced. She may have died from asphyxiation. So whether it was from the cut or we don't know. But anyway, she was bound with tape, and the numbers 1 and 0 were found on her body, placed on her body with some kind of a device.
Satanist.
4 people are in custody in connection with a case. They're going to the autopsy. I haven't heard the results of the autopsy yet. But again, if this, I mean, she was found a couple of streets away, so it wasn't like she was kidnapped and taken to whatever. She was.
It's a ritual killing.
I mean, yeah, this sounds like some real
Satanist.
Horrible freaking cult thing.
It sounds like 2 TV shows. Remember the one a few years ago on NBC where the girl was found naked in a suitcase in Times Square?
Yes,
and
yes.
she had stuff written all over
Yeah.
her, and they had tried to figure that out.
Yeah.
Okay, she was in the Thor movies too. So there was that. And remember The Americans, the scene where they have to kill the guy in the hotel room and cut him up and put him in suitcases.
Yeah. Wow.
That's got to be a Satanist ritual thing.
I guess. A quickie crime thing. They allegedly have caught the guy who robbed Julio Jones from his the guy they caught was from Bowling Green, Kentucky. And by the way, kudos to the cops. Here's the story. Julio Jones's place was robbed. He was in Buckhead. It's on West Roxborough Road some time ago. And so the police, when they went to the, an officer on an off-duty patrol spotted the suspect accused of stealing clothing and jewelry from Julio Jones's place. Officers responded to the West Roxborough Road home after a 911 caller reported a burglary. The caller was not identified. Police didn't say how they discovered the home had burglarized, but they used the security technology to see images of the suspect, broadcast his physical description over the radio, and an off-duty cop saw the guy, detained him without incident, matched him to the description, and took him into custody, still wearing some of the stolen clothing that he stole from Julio's place. But again, what a great job by an off-duty cop who was so aware, and he's not even on duty. But he heard this thing, look out for, a guy suspect,
Be on the lookout.
and saw a guy, 1 Adam 12, 1 Adam 12, and off duty said, gee, I wonder if that's the guy they're looking for, stopped him and caught him.
Yeah.
Great going copper. I wish I knew the cop's name. Give him a little salute here. Anyway, nice going, copper. Also, a drive-by shooting at Clark Atlanta University early Sunday morning at the Robert Woodruff Library.
I don't know why Julio wasn't home to catch him himself. He's not like he's playing.
Not like he can be on the football field.
Last 3 years.
The University Clark Atlanta's homecoming week, and there was a party taking place out to the Woodruff Library on Brawley Drive, and a drive-by shooting and shot 4 people. And the people at Clark Atlanta said, well, they weren't students. They weren't students. I said, well, how do you know they weren't students? They said, well, because, the problem is at Clark Atlanta, they have access, everybody has access to drive right through here. And the students are in danger because of these non-students. I said, okay, good, fine. I know. Best of luck to you. Everybody's happy. Shall we do a Bill Burr thing? Now, we have a couple of Bill Burr things to choose from. One of them involves airlines, and the other one involves bad language. Do you have a choice?
Just pick one. Just pick one.
Let's do the first one we had was the bad language, but I need to warn you that it's all bad language. He's describing how some people can use dirty words better than other people and how they get away with it. And so it's a pretty funny bit, but it's all bad words. Yeah. So if you're going to be offended by this, don't give us 4 minutes.
What you're saying is there are bad words in this.
It's going to be bad words here, pretty clearly. I'm trying to
and tip stands for
I can't remember what that totally in her that can't be right. Pocket. I'm totally in her pocket, man. She can do anything she wants with me. Okay, here's Bill Burr being Bill Burr.
After they say
coming up shortly.
any moment.
Almost any
I've noticed black people have the genius to put the curse word after they say the race of the person, where white dudes, we always put it in front. And if we would just make that little adjustment, we could save so many careers, so many jobs. could be saved in the white community if we would just put it after. You never notice that in conversation? You hear a black guy being like, man, I was standing there, this Asian motherfucker came in, he starts talking about, you don't even hear it. You're just sitting there, oh, what did this Asian motherfucker do? I would love to hear the rest of this story, right? Dude, I would tell the exact same story, right? I'm standing there, right? This fucking Asian comes in, right? Everybody's all like, whoa, whoa, hey, easy, Jesus. What year is it, you know? It's like, dude, I just said what he said. I just preempted the fuck. That's all I did.
He's got a pretty good point, I do say. Let's see. Okay. A couple of, as you know, I read Dear Abby column. Gene Phillips is the new Dear Abby. And people are so weird. See if this sounds, I don't know, it's not really an important topic, but I thought it was fairly bizarre. Been married more than 20 years to a very kind man, Dear Abby, but the only thing he can talk about is cars and trucks. He literally, that's his entire life and his entire hobby. He spends most of his free time cleaning, polishing, and talking about them, cars and trucks. He prioritizes them way above me, has for most of our married life for 20 years. I do think there's a bit of OCD going on here, but he refuses help. We've been to several counselors, but he denies the obsession. We get to nowhere. I'm getting older, and I'm not sure I can take much more of this. When we occasionally watch a movie, he spends it pointing out the vehicles in the movie. He has no clue what the movie's about. Traveling was spent pointing out all the cars on the road, not the things we saw. God. He retires soon and has zero other interests. I need more in my life, and I'm seriously thinking being alone would be better than listening to car and truck history until my dying day. Especially if he's about to retire, he'll be home a lot.
What you're saying here.
Yeah.
He's driving her crazy.
He's driving her crazy. It's on the road to insanity, my friends. The highway to hell, baby.
It's a short trip.
Yeah, and Abby says, I agree there's more to life than this, but try explaining that to a car enthusiast. By now, you should have realized you can't change your husband. You can, though, develop more of your own interests and spend time with like-minded people. The same is true for travel if you join a group. Yeah, nonsense. You can't get away from the guy if all he's done when he's with you 18 hours a day talking about cars. Anyway, whatever.
She's going to have to put him up on blocks.
I have, in one of our New Yorker magazines, I think you have this copy too. Sometimes they send me two, some days they don't, but I ripped this out of the, in one part of it, there's a commentator, a little commentary, a little jokey type stuff. This was an article called More Types of Parents. We've heard of helicopter parents where they hover over their kids to make sure they can't do anything wrong and they take care of everything, stuff like that. Well, here are some more. Wearing blender parents will absolutely liquefy obstacles to their children's future success, but they are not above dicing someone who just annoys them. Leaf blower parents, very loud and aggressive. They don't actually deal with stuff so much as dramatically blow it around so that someone else will have to clean it all up. Drone parents, stealthier than helicopter parents. They use location services on phones, Ring doorbells, old baby monitors to track their children. Although seemingly quiet and unobtrusive, they will appear out of blue and annihilate anyone whom they perceive to be blocking their children's momentum toward the Ivy League. Swiffer parents. This is kind of nasty. Swiffer parents, seemingly efficient at cleaning up their children's messes, but actually not so great with the really big ones. Like Swiffer doesn't really. Tesla parents, quiet, attractive, and ostensibly better for the world, but loathed by other parents for their sanctimonious bullshit. Toilet paper parents, often gentle, but somehow never around when you need them. Here's one for Flounder. Air fryer parents, either completely shut down or blasting intense heat, causing a protective crust to form around their children, are considered healthier since they don't use conventional methods, but end up being just as bad for you as everybody else. And one more. Particle accelerator parents, known for propelling their child forward at high speeds until he or she cracks up at 15 during freshman year at Harvard. Anyway, now a quick word for one of our one of our sponsors. A musical birthday coming up here shortly. Also, some history stuff, and you'll hear the words Al Capone. But first, let's say you're looking for a new car. Duh, he's tricked the giver.
Let's say you're looking for a new
Oh,
dog.
yeah. Hey, ho. I'm throwing it to you underhand, boy. Go to swapmywhip.com. A whip, of course, colloquial phrase or a word for a car or a vehicle, a ride. And at Swap My Whip, you may find like-minded people who would love to swap their whip, their car, for yours or someone you know or a guy that they have and da-da-da-da-da. No middlemen, no dealerships, no used car salesmen. You do it all on your own right there, swapmywhip.com. Look it up, check it out. You might just get yourself a better deal, especially for a car that you've always wanted that might be right there available that you can't find somewhere else. Anyway, it's not just cars, by the way, at swapmywhip.com. Trucks, boats, jet skis, off-road vehicles, ATVs, whatever. Swapmywhip.com. And don't forget, use the coupon code KIMMER, K-I-M-M-E-R, for 180 days of free premium listings on swapmywhip.com. A couple of birthdays for you today. Michael McKean, 75. I just saw Best in Show was just on for your consideration. And all these movies with him and all the whole crew there.
Spinal Tap.
Yeah, I just that was I loved that movie too.
Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul. Yeah, oh, that's right. He played the older brother lawyer. Norm George Wendt, 74 today from Cheers. Alan Jackson, 64, country singer. Ziggy Marley, Bob Marley's kid, entertainer and singer. I guess is he? I don't even know. Is he a rapper or a?
No, he's a reggae
rock
guy.
Reggae guy. Reggae, sure, of course. Ziggy Marley, 54. Eminem, 50 years old. Felicity Jones, she was a cute little brunette chickie who was in the Ruth Bader Ginsburg story.
She was in Rogue One, one of the better Star Wars knockoffs.
Yeah, she was a cutie. She played a great role in that Ruth Bader Ginsburg movie on
she's a good actress.
Women's rights or the Supreme Court. I can't remember the name of it. She's 39, Felicity Jones. Gary Puckett and the Union. Gary Puckett is 80 years old today. He was my first, when I was at Arizona State University, which is the only school that let me in after I got back out of the Marines and came overseas. And I was at Arizona State, and that was my first concert that I recall with my starter wife. And it was Gary Puckett in the Union Gap, and it was colder than hell. It must have been wintertime, and for some reason it was at Arizona State in Tempe, Arizona, near Phoenix, and it was colder than hell. And we were all bundled up, and he was wearing a short-sleeved shirt, or a thin thing, and must have been freezing up there. I remember, and he looked so skinny. I couldn't believe it in person. When you first see your rock guys, you looked up. Anyway, that was my first rock concert with my starter wife, I believe, so I'm not mistaken. No, that can't be. Yeah. No. Anyway, he is. Gary Puckett is 80 years old today. Ernie Els, the famous golfer, 53 today. Mike Judge is 60. Mike Judge is the creator of Office Space, Beavis and Butthead, King of the Hill. And he does voices. He does. Those are the voices. He does those voices, too. Bill Hudson of the Hudson Brothers is 73. You may not know the Hudson Brothers, but you do know his daughter is Kate Hudson, whose mom is Goldie Hawn.
Was it Mike Judge in Office Space, the guy that Jennifer Aniston's boss that was talking about Flair all the time? I think that was Mike Judge.
Might be.
Yeah, I think it was.
We could probably Google the cast members in Office Space and see whether he pops up.
We need to talk about your Flair.
Well, do you want me to use more Flair? Well, now, see, it's just up to you, but you should want to want more Flair, And that's how they are, by the way. Those are those people, the
here at
marketing people.
Tchotchkes, we have...
Tchotchkes, yeah. I've got 7 tchotchkes.
It's Todd Duffy is the actor's name. So
okay.
He's in there somewhere doing something.
Yeah. Bill Hudson of the Hudson
Tchotchkes
Brothers
for
is
Flair.
73. His daughter's Kate Hudson with Goldie Hawn. Bill Hudson divorced Goldie Hawn in 1982 so he could marry Cindy Williams from Laverne and Shirley.
Oh, and Michael McKean got his start as Lenny and Squiggy on.
Oh, that's right.
Laverne
Yeah.
and Shirley.
And one more birthday, 63 years old, would have been his age today, and it would have been Norm Macdonald's 63rd birthday. And Flounder's now going to find us a Norm Macdonald thing just to
Sad.
put him in our memory.
Norm. That's what.
A little flashback.
And get some volume. Here we go.
The winner, you know, but who knows?
He's on with the
You
girls.
like George Bush, don't you?
I love George Bush, man. He's a good man, decent. You know, none of this.
Now they love George.
He's, you know, he's not a liar, a crook, murderer, or anything like that. So it'd be good to get the. See, I think we should get the homicide out of the White House and get like a fresh start, because we don't want any more murderers.
I think we should just go on to the next question.
Murderers.
Yeah.
Oh, Clinton, he murdered a guy.
No accusations.
That's a little too
That's
far.
the way it does
Let's
work.
just go on to the next question.
Yeah.
This is not my week. What can I tell you?
Oh, it's not mine either, and I'm being very nice, okay? Be a good boy. Now, Norm?
Do you never hear that?
No. Listen, we don't need
I
to
don't
talk
want to get
about
into this, and I don't want to hear it, and this is not the place to make those accusations, and you're supposed to be funny. Let's get on to the next question. So get with it.
Anyway,
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Get rid of the murderers in the White House. Anyway, we miss old Norm. A couple of historical notes. 1973, you remember the start of those crappy K cars.
Yeah.
You remember those K cars when what's the name who made the Mustang and went to
Iacocca.
Chrysler? Lee Iacocca was bragging about his K cars, which were cheap, square, boxy cars, because of the onslaught of Japanese cars' names hitting the American vernacular started really in earnest on this day in 1973. Members of OPEC announced an oil embargo on any country that supported Israel in the war against Syria and would decrease oil production 5% each month to those countries until Israel gives back the land it took in the 1967 war.
Eat me.
Suddenly, Japanese cars that got twice the gas mileage as ours flooded into America. And I remember this in my neighborhood one day. My neighbor down the street, again, it was in New Orleans, and living in our cul-de-sac, 1973. No, that can't be right. I was still here in Atlanta. I beg your pardon. It was here in Atlanta, 73 or 74, after this K-car thing all started. A neighbor drove home one day in a great big Cadillac. And the reason was he got it for almost nothing. I mean, they were giving them away. They wanted to get rid of these cars. And people said, "Oh, well, are you going to fill that?" I mean, it was really they were mocked and said, "Oh, you still buying a big da-da-da?" I mean,
You got the last laugh.
You got the last laugh. But again, it all started because of on this day the oil embargo by OPEC said we're punishing all you countries, and all of a sudden all these little Japanese cars, Chrysler went to these little K cars. I mean, it was just no horsepower and stripped down and lightweight. Anyway. That was started in 1973. In 1931, Scarface Al Capone is found guilty of tax evasion, gets 11 years in prison and a fine of $50,000. He got out 8 years later, 1939. He started originally, his sentence was to be here at the Atlanta Federal Penitentiary. The problem was, it was Al Capone. And the guard said, "Hey, that's Al Capone." And they treated him like royalty.
He's a fiefdom.
He ran the joint. He could do anything he wanted to. It was like, the Goodfellas, when they went to prison, they had steaks and beer brought in and do whatever they want to. And that was Al Capone in prison at the Atlanta Penitentiary. So somebody finally said, okay, this has got to stop. And they sent him to Alcatraz. And he was at the Rock until he got released 8 years after he got sentenced.
Welcome to the Rock.
I want him dead. I want his whole family dead.
A man's got to have enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm. As a teenager, Al Capone was recruited by Johnny Torrio, one of the most successful killers and gangsters on the East Coast. Al Capone did little small favors and errands for Johnny Torrio. In his early adolescence, Al Capone was sleeping with neighborhood prostitutes as a young kid and apparently got syphilis from one of them. Yeah. Another rather bizarre note, at the height of his power, it's reported that Al Capone had a net worth of $100 million of his time, which would be $1.5 billion today. Right before he died, though, Capone supposedly could not remember where he had hidden his fortune. He had a 6,000 square foot home with 4 bedrooms and a pool in Florida. It changed ownership over the years, but right now this place is owned by Todd Michael Glazer, the South Florida developer who bought and then demolished Jeffrey Epstein's Palm Beach mansion. Now, one more thing. Al Capone, apparently his last words were, quote, and again, you've heard these before. Apparently the last words spoken by Al Capone were, "You can get more with a kind word and a gun than you can get with a kind word alone," which was him in the movie with Kevin Costner's Al Capone, Untouchables movie. He used that exact comment to the cops. By the way, I'm still bleeding, apparently. All right. Oh, that's a good bleed there. That's coming out pretty good there. And I apparently am putting it somewhere else. Okay, well, that's fine now. We're all good. Everything's good. Everything's good. 1933, Albert Einstein and his wife arrive in Princeton, New Jersey, fleeing the Nazis to do his work at the Institute of Advanced Study. 1943, the Death Railway is completed between Bangkok, Thailand, and Rangoon, Burma, which is now Myanmar. Part of the railway, 1943 now, part of the railway is the bridge on the River Kwai. Yeah. Later, of course, a famous movie. During the actual construction, 13,000 prisoners and 100,000 civilians died from horrible living conditions, along with cholera, malaria, and dysentery. And it was finished on this day in 1943. 1968, the Black Power Salute. Mexico Olympics, the national anthem played after the 200-meter finals. Two black guys bow their heads and raise black-gloved fists, representing Democrats who hate America. 1979, Mother Teresa is awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for what she did to the poor in Calcutta. I say what she did to the poor. She's on a list of people who are not as nice as you think they are, because apparently she prevented people from getting medicine when they needed it, but she thought it should go to other people. Whatever, I don't know. Again, I prayed with her when I was in San Francisco to try to save my girlfriend who died in my arms, but it didn't work, so she killed my girlfriend. 2006, the population of America in 2006 reached 300 million. 1777, American ragtag patriots to the new nation defeat the British at Saratoga, the turning point in the Revolutionary War. They said, hey, wait a minute, we did this. And it changed, tactics. The British, I mean, everything changed right after that. And I don't think anybody, if you ask people, what was the turning point of the Revolutionary War, nobody would know it. And if you said, what is the Battle of Saratoga, nobody know what that is. I wonder why that's not taught as part of the Revolution.
That was Benedict Arnold's great victory. It was fought on the Lake Champlain and in the rivers up there as well.
Yeah.
We built a navy, basically, to face them.
Yeah. Anyway,
a bigger navy.
Huge revolutionary victory. Anyway, boys.
Some very sad news. I don't know. You remember probably the story from a few years ago of Eclipse the dog.
Eclipse the dog?
Eclipse the dog. He lived in Seattle. He was known for riding a city bus by himself.
Oh, I know that story. Oh, that was a famous story. They'd let him, he'd wait and he'd get on the bus. And
she was 10 years old. She died in her sleep, been fighting cancer. She gained attention 7 years ago. She took the bus alone. Her owner, Jeff, says the two of them would get on the bus and visit their local dog park. One day, he was still smoking a cigarette, not paying attention, when the bus showed up, and she got on without him. Within weeks, the Black Lab Bull Mastiff mix was a consistent commuter in her signature red harness. Bus drivers recognized her. She knew her stop by looking out the window.
That's unbelievable.
There was 3 or 4 stops down the road, and she'd start looking out when she knew her stop was coming up. They'd stop and let her out. She'd run to the dog park, and he'd meet up with her later.
Unbelievable. What a great story. She passed away in her sleep, which is the best way, of course. I hope.
Well, you say
so. Who knows?
Maybe it's horrible.
I don't know. Maybe
it could be what your ghost is. You don't know you're dead.
Nightmare from hell in your sleep.
You don't know you're dead, so you're walking around.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, we got a poem. Susan Jansen Alton wrote this to you about 6 years ago.
Wow.
She's the Bible babe.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's a limerick. Remember we told people to send us limericks?
I do.
That was a mistake.
You can still do it. Send us limericks.
Send
we
us
love limericks. I love limericks.
What the hell? Send us ghost stories.
Modern ghost stories for
Short
Halloween.
Ghost stories.
Or fear stories or psycho stories about Halloween. Some Halloween-themed story. Yeah.
There once was a van by the river that housed a man named Kimmer. He hacked and he coughed till his hair blew off, and now he has pains in his liver. You can have that.
Thank you. Susan Jansen Otten from the Bible Babe. I'll be damned. How sweet. It's printed like an actual printed story thing.
It did. It did.
cool.
Oh, someone put this out and I put it on Facebook. This is God creating ducks.
Okay.
Okay. Waterproof that chicken and give it a kazoo. Bad Text Theater time.
Bad Text Theater, my friends.
All right, what do we got today?
I think it's the police officer.
Police officer, huh? Police officer. Okay. All righty. Are you the cop or are you the perp?
I'll be the perp.
All right. I'm the cop. I will begin. We're looking for a drug dealer, and you fit the description we've been given.
All right, well, what you looking for?
It's like the cop pulls over a guy, and the cop says, you drinking? Guy says, you buying? Boys, have any final thoughts? Tonight, the only ball game on, Monday Night Football.
Yankees and Guardians.
I don't really. Monday Night Football is something like.
Oh, it's another. Oh, God.
L.A.
Don't you know before the season, they all got together and go, oh, we want the Broncos. Russell Wilson, we want the Broncos.
Broncos.
It has been the
Detroit,
worst
that's
football
awful.
in the history of football.
Yeah, I know.
And every week we are stuck with
Yeah.
a Broncos game.
Yeah, I don't get it. Put those on Thursday night when nobody can watch because nobody has their phone. I don't have my phone NFL screen ready, I guess. Anyway, boys, have a great one. Go vote.
Vote the right way.
I gotta go. You're killing me. Hoorah, Semper Fi. And again, Wednesday, herp and herp and hoop.